And every time I said that I leaving, one look at me just make me think it over. I cannot do without you, I cannot do without you. I can't even entertain it out of you not being my baby. Why can't I leave you alone? Why? Why can't I leave you alone? Baby, tell me why can't I leave you alone? Girl, you have me wondering if it's the bother, if it's the wine, if it's the good up you give me every time, if it's the way you cover me like the ceiling, or is it the way you cook good that I'm feeling? If it's the bother, if it's the wine, if it's the good up you give me every time, if it's the way you cover me like the ceiling, or is it because you cook good, baby? Why can't I leave you alone? I wanna know. Tell me why can't I leave you alone?
Father bless everybody in this party. Yeah. Put hands on us. Father bless everybody in this party. Yeah. Watch over us.
Yes, and we are praying for the Father to bless everybody that is tuning in to Boom 106.9. And we're asking you to be careful on the road. We are asking you to be very careful on the road. I was just coming down there and around New Montrose, Old Montrose area. There was a series, a Toyota vehicle. It seems like it collided with a pole just below the basketball court, you know what I mean? So we're asking folks out there to be very, very careful on the road, okay?
I'm blessed. I'm celebrating the fact that I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
I don't book my flight. Tell me friends and family I'm coming. Hey, boy, the suitcase packed tight. As soon as the plane touch down, we pumping. And if you hear them, welcome to the land of Calypso. I see that you touched down. Well done. Get your mother fit and ready, cause it's real rum, real vibes. Soon as I touch the first party, get shell down. I'm fitting until I'm holding down. I will never miss the next carnival again. Tell them I will never miss the next carnival again. Until the good Lord take me, I'll be jumping up in a party. I'll be on the road with family. I'll be having the time of until the good Lord take me. Hey, it's carnival.
Put on your dancing shoes tonight, cause we gon' set this place on fire. The whole place full up of vibes. Dance fun up, party turn over. Cups up, and we not leaving this party sober. Call your friends, tell them come over. I say we having a time, yeah. All I need is my good friends and good vibes. All I need is my good friends and good vibes. And I will spend till morning, and I will jump till morning, and I will have them calling. And let me do it again till the sun come up. And let me do it again till the sun come up. My name is on the guest list. It's VIP tonight. It's champagne bottles popping. I'm celebrating life. Looks up, and we not leaving this party sober. Call your friends, tell them come over. I say we having a time, yeah. All I need is my good friends and good vibes. All I need is my good friends and good vibes. And I will spend till morning, and I will jump till morning, and I will have them calling. Let me do it again till the sun come up. Let me do it again till the sun come up. It's only good vibes, yeah. It's only good vibes, yeah.
1069
Mario, are you looking over there? Hey guys, welcome. We are live at the moment, and we're gonna be live until 10 a.m. Yeah. What is happening there?
There you go. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to get a couple of the new cameras and stuff worked up, but it's not playing nicely with me at all today. So we'll just do it like we normally do.
But normally we see in your face. Hey, good day, guys.
Don't worry, you'll see my face and all that.
Good day, Bernadette. I see you already live. You know, we are here and we're discussing a number of issues, man, and you know, it just goes back, you know, going back to Saturday. You know, we had a double murder, and you know, it's unfortunate that crime has to be discussed again, or even talk about, because we had a good October,
right?
In my opinion, you know, it was relatively peaceful.
Yeah.
And then November kicked in, and then we are seeing this thing.
Yeah, there seems to be a spate of gun violence that just, you know, popped up.
Yeah.
And I know that there was a day of prayer that happened. I think at the end of or the middle of last month, something like that. But I think there's another one carded as well. Soon I'll grab the information.
No, I think we need more than prayer.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think that these days of prayer work?
Prayer, I do believe prayer work, but we need more than prayer. As they say, God help those who help themselves. Yeah.
So how are you helping yourself?
Yeah, by solving crime, by being tough on crime, man, and getting the community, getting the community to you know, help fight crime and all these things, man. That is.
So you think that being tougher on crime would stop this?
Yes, for sure. That is what's gonna solve it. You know what I mean? Okay. You cannot continue. We cannot continue like this, man. We're just going for another record, and it's just who next? Whether they will be.
Who's going for the record?
Our country. You know what I mean? The country on a whole is 36 homicide now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we're in November. You know, November just started, and we already have a double homicide.
See, you had to listen to Pastor. Pastor say the problem is the people.
The people?
The people.
Well, the people are part of the problem, but
The people is the problem.
No, but if listen, I understand the people is the problem, but what else? So what is the solution then?
People need to behave themselves.
Behave yourself. And if people not behaving themselves,
they get thrown in jail.
But that is it. So there is a need for a solution. This is what I'm saying. There's a need for a solution.
You sound like you just out for the police.
No, not out for the police. Listen, we have 36 homicides.
And whose fault is that?
We have to be tough on crime. I get that. But what I'm sorry to be tough on themselves too.
Yes, Mario, we understand that. But where persons are breaking the law, running afoul of the law,
they need to be held accountable. Definitely,
that is the problem.
So you think that nobody's being held accountable for nothing?
Well, tell me, we just have 36 homicides. Tell me how much person have been charged, arrested, or whatever, and sentenced.
Who police going to lock up?
Huh?
Who police going to lock up?
What do you mean by that?
If they're killed.
If they kill?
Yeah.
Who's the gunman or whatever?
Who's the gunman?
Well, that is the police to be doing the investigation, Shady. That's what I'm telling you. These are questions you're asking me that the police, you should be asking the police. But this is the point is that we have 36 homicide, and it's just like nobody has been arrested or charged or sentenced. There is tell me how much of these homicide has been solved.
Let's find out. Let's find that out. Let's make an open call right now and find out how much of these 38 homicides are 36. You see what I mean? 36 homicides are under investigation, so you can't talk about
all of them are
oh gosh.
Go ahead.
A, under investigation actively, so you can't talk about it. B, you've already done most of your preliminary investigations and you're close to solving. You know, give us an idea of what's going on, because as Fonando says, 36 and O is what he's saying. 36 happened and nobody ain't been held accountable for nothing. So let's find out what's going on here.
Question from Mario. This one by Alvin. Question from Mario. Do you think these are sporadic and happen chance incidents or all linked to an organized, syndicated, violent? That's a question.
That's for me. It seems with how violent the crimes are, and with them involving shootings. I normally attribute that to organized crime or some kind of gang violence, because normal people don't just unless they're part of the unlucky innocents that get hit by stray bullets. But normal people, unless it's mistaken identity or just somebody that just crazy run up on you, normal people they don't be in positions to get sprayed. I'm just saying, in my opinion, right? So it to me it comes off as though there's an air of organization toward these violence.
But are you content in terms of the response from the law authorities?
Well, like I said, now we're posing the question, as you said, it's 36 and so what's going on with these investigations? And I know when I say that word, Bert laugh until he fall down, but what's happening with that? Are you investigating? Where are we? Because 36, we can count those on the books now. 36. What's happening? Where are the investigations? Have you caught one person? Do you know if it's linked to XYZ? And if it's an ongoing investigation, we understand that because lots of undercovers and stuff going on. Right?
Fair
at least tell us something.
Tell us something. Absolutely.
I get that.
Absolutely.
But you can't just say we need to be tougher when you don't know what we're doing.
Well, obviously, I'm a citizen who is very concerned and very much.
But you have to be concerned with all the facets. You can't just say police need to be tougher.
No, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. I'm concerned about the facets.
Because listen, man, and I don't want to, people will say, "Man, buddy, heck, you Vinci," what I mean? But it's a natural kind of aggression. A guy hears something off key, and the kind of aggression he comes back at you with, what you say that? Relax. You know what I mean? You gotta taper the aggression, and I know that comes with, man will say, man belly hungry now, so they're in a state of aggression. So that means beat up each other and kill each other. That go and make you not hungry.
Because when you think of it, as I pointed out before, Mario might be wanted by a gunman or by somebody, right? And okay.
Go ahead.
Jando, let me say Jando, okay? Jando, and then Tom might be next to Jando. Tom is not involved, but obviously they come for Jando, and they ain't go and say, "Excuse me, Tom."
Where Jando?
We come for Jando. So this is a problem, and now you're seeing this because based on the information this guy is seen, wasn't involved. The community described him as a very humble individual, and seeing had to pick up bullet and died.
I think it was established that he was in the wrong place, wrong time, or something like that.
And that is not something to be taken lightly. Because where is the wrong place at the wrong time now? You know what I mean? So Preston is asking, do you know if guns are ever recovered from the crime scenes? Well, I don't know because
these are all these are all points that we really should ask, because I mean, that's a lot. So
put money in drop, they're gonna run.
even in situation where somebody might get killed with a gun on them, there is somebody who might be there before the police and recovers that or retrieve that.
But people the gun money in drop. The gun money really drop his gun and leave it and run.
You think you shoot it? Drop it and
no, but where
not baseball.
No, what I'm saying, where like the other person, the victim,
right?
They might have a gun on them. When
you mean if it was somebody might exchanged,
likely, so. So that's a double homicide.
Well, let's hear what the audience has to say. 4511069. That's the number you can call us on to be in the discussion live, or 4551069. You can holler at us on WhatsApp with that number. All right, Fonando, you got to read all the messages because I can't read nothing. And do you think it's just police? Because I mean, police have a responsibility, and Charles always come back and say they have a responsibility. They do have a responsibility, and as counsel always says, justice needs to be appears to have been served. So yeah, you have a PR thing to do as well as an investigation thing. So. Yeah, man.
So somebody, in terms of the messages, comments on Facebook, Alvin said, how could you be at the wrong place at the wrong time? How could a gathering for a peaceful community organization?
Yeah.
So this is, and that is the point I was trying to make. Yes, this is so true. The guy don't even, somebody highly favored saying, yes, this is so true. The guy don't even smoke, the dark one. That is seen. Raymond said, Fonando is not necessarily he was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Yes, I said that. It's a case where he was with the wrong company. Yeah. So I mean, it happens. It happens 3 houses from mine. So that's highly favored saying it happened. So she 3
houses from hers.
3 houses from
my
hers.
goodness.
So obviously she heard. And in terms of the number of shots, persons are reporting here in about 20-something shots.
20-something shots.
20 plus shots, brother.
You really wanted him, man.
Is about 3 of them, 3 to 4.
Good man.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a caller.
Let's see who's on the line. Good morning, you're live on Boom. Hello.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning, my friend. I call you out.
Fonando.
Hey.
Shady. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend, my brother.
Yeah, my weekend was quite okay.
I just kind of listening to your program this morning, and it is real touching to hear about our crime situation. It's not dropping, it's going up.
Yeah.
And we asked ourselves, where are the law enforcement? Now, when we have these kind of crimes are happening, we see it all over the world.
Yeah.
And me comparing Simmons we go all over the world. But I say we see it all over the world, where police officers, when there are crimes like these, they get on the ball and they start acting. They have investigation going on to certain set of crimes.
Yeah.
There will be investigation. There will be police officers going around in the neighborhood, in the community, asking questions.
Yeah.
We don't see that here in St. Vincent.
Right.
And I often ask, what is the police responsibility?
Fair question.
What are the obligations in law to protect and serve?
Yeah.
Right? And when we're hearing all these killings, now for instance, I heard Fonando or Shady say, the lady said that the house is where it's happening is
3 houses
from her.
Right. About what time that was?
It's around afternoon time.
Around afternoon time.
Yeah, high day time.
Some kids were running out of playing. Somebody was in the yard going out.
Yeah.
And those gunmen see them. They think they would have been like this.
No. Yeah.
Or somebody get shot within that kind of movement.
Yeah.
Would you say that they've been in the wrong place at the wrong time?
Exactly. I keep hearing that statement, so I ask.
They didn't know that. They didn't know that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
And we can't say that. Suppose you were living next door, and I'm going in your house. You come out to something, going back and bam, you get shot. You are at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Exactly.
Well,
right?
Yeah, you were by way of probabilities. Yes, you were. We're not saying that it's a good thing or a bad thing. It's just we're just saying that is the unfortunate eventuality.
The gunmen them was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Taking life.
Yeah.
And our police officers, and I'm calling on the commissioner of police for all these crimes that are happening in St. Vincent. Are we hearing anything on the radio?
Right.
Are they coming to Boom? Are they going to Extreme? Are they going to Hot 97?
Right.
These radio stations are different broadcasting corporation in St. Vincent.
Right.
And on all the radio stations, really the same thing. You guys are talking about this because you guys are concerned as radio announcers.
Yeah, exactly.
And people who bring the news to the public.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Don't you think that the commissioner and others Vincent and the whole things and Gwendy's explanation?
Yes, we need an explanation. That's what we.
Of what is happening?
Yeah.
And we need to get down to there. Where do you hear the calling? Do you hear the calling any meeting or any we call it? We just call it
press conference.
Yeah, you hardly get that.
Yeah.
To discuss about these things that is happening.
Yeah, 30 seconds, Charles. I gotta rush it.
So guys, we need to hear from the commissioner.
Yes.
We need to hear from the minister of the minister of security, national security, because we only hear them going on one radio station and keep talking.
Right.
They need to come and boom and all these ways.
Exactly.
Station
Yes.
Don't cover it up in one place.
Yeah, man.
You know, so they hear what others have to say. And please, Mr. Hamilton, don't shout at the guys this morning. Come on,
yeah, man. Respect.
You got to guide. No, you got to guide Mr. Hamilton because he's coming from very important conversation. We need for him to speak up to on the radio because the world is listening to him.
Yes,
and let's start there. Let me show that we can guide somebody.
Yes,
I'm a good guy.
Right.
Yes.
And that's I don't think that anything said there was disrespectful or unreasonable.
No.
There's been 36 homicides, 36 of them.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's unreasonable to say, hey, what's happening?
Yeah.
Do you have an update for us? What's the state of crime in what's the state of crime and investigation in SVG and how are you securing or safety, because that is what you're charged with. I don't think that there's anything unreasonable in asking those questions. I don't think there's anything unreasonable in expecting an answer from the authorities on those questions. I don't think so at all. Right? And I'm coming humbly, hat in hand, and asking, can we have an update, even if it's a recorded statement that you want to send to us? If you don't want to come here and get put in the hot seat, that's all right. Send a recorded statement, or something, and say, yo, Mario, I heard you on the radio, we're doing X, Y, Z, and let's set the time up where you can send Fonando in and we can have a proper interview. Easy.
Yes, man.
That's all we're looking for.
We need some answers.
Dialogue. Talk to us.
Because as the communities, the communities, they're very much worried. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
They're very much worried.
Yeah, you hear frustration in every caller, every message that comes in. You can hear, because people don't want to feel like you're being held hostage in your own yard, in your own house, right? And when I say wrong place, wrong time, it's just, unfortunate circumstances happen, because bad things happen to good people. Exactly. That's just the way how life works, right? There's no force field around you because you're good. Bad things can happen, but it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate.
All right, man. We're gonna jump out for some ads.
Yeah, we're gonna jump out for some ads and then come up with some vibes with Shady. We've got a council coming up at 7:45, and of course, Mr. Weeks. It's Monday. Comes in at 8:30.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs? At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company. Call us today at 784-456-1821 or email us at metrosint@fintisurf.com.
The Careers Hazel's end of year extravaganza is back! From now until December 31st, get 20.
Here's a chance to win with your favorite credit union. It's the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Cooperative Credit Union Limited 45th Anniversary Theme Competition. All members of the credit union are invited to submit their themes for the credit union's 45th anniversary, which will be celebrated in 2023. All theme ideas should be submitted via email to marketing@tccusvg.com on or before November 30th, 2022. The member with the winning theme will receive a prize of $400 $250. So put on your thinking cap, be creative, put pen to paper, and win. The SVGTCCU terms and conditions apply.
General Hardware still has the best prices on steel, lumber, and plywood. So go on, compare prices. And if by chance you find a better price, no stress.
Plain talk. Plain talk with Jumo Thomas.
So much things to say right now.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Look at the place. At Pharmacy Plus, you can get your personal care, hair care, prescription, dental, and over-the-counter, and medical supplies at affordable prices. Located on Egmont Street, opposite Home Collection. We're open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pharmacy Plus, for supreme care and more.
Tap up, man. Tap up. Look at the place covered. Look at the place covered. Rose all you want.
But when you tap it up, switch it up, side it up, on the love. Easy wins with love. Easy wins.
Get the easy summer vibes with over $70,000 in cash and prizes. Just top up $10 or more. Activate a prepaid plan, switch to Flow, or bundle your home services to get your share of $70,000 in cash, data, Samsung Galaxy devices, shopping vouchers, and more.
You can win when you top it up, switch it up, side it up, on the love. Easy wins with love.
No terms and conditions apply.
Umbrellas up. Man born to win, champion never lost. Raining. Umbrellas up. Man medal up. Some a fly every door, not one them a shot. It's when me do my charge, imagine my can't do traffic, my power. Plus my charge, got it, my bind the bracket, no borrow any charge. Me tap it the boss and nothing no follow. Man a flash, no panic, my toe pocket never shallow, gonna swallow. Can you lift up the passion? I straight to the blood money, what a arrow, got a lot of ammo, devil real and them not understand you. Also big like it's a Malay private jet, too powerful and you turn it pan you till your shirt up on no people have to fan you. I don't want less life for no man, a soldier without the camera. Cement up on the top, I'm a good lift up my farmer. Fingers straight up on the pad, I'm a press it to them fair and you can you. Take it to the top and never make it fall. Tell my family do my best, me not forget it all. But my money not stepping small. Pull up a wrecking ball. Umbrellas up, man medal up. Dan cheddar up, me see the plan never look. Raining. Umbrellas up. Straight to the top, my gas pedal up. Raining. Umbrellas up, world no give a fuck. Nobody cares on the journey when you stop. It's raining. Umbrellas up. Watch it cloud bust. Show us a joy, show us a blessing. Turn man from a boy, me learn my lesson. What that from my belly? From my mama ready, you know me stepping. Devil off of my soul, pull let him do my great. My band show here, no love making. Settings, from me go clump setting. Real blood run, enough sweating. Compare me with do it, I'm setting. Put a lip on your silly head and make a cock with him. Living life from war, not regretting, but no pressing. Living life is so refreshing. Hello my band, did that to make it out there. Rain forever, we're not going nowhere. Them fear. I'm Godfather, man a shot caller. Then I bubble like hot water. You know say 6 no girl no want you. Me no beg split pocket never empty. Full of bills, full of 50, full of 20. But it been Louis D20. Fresh like lettuce, 6 them trendy. Hey, yo, what's how we want? Bad man party, them girl like it.
Good morning, Angela. Grabber, see you in the house. Grabber, finesse, big up yourself, Winston. Hey, thank you guys for locking it down. Mary, you wanna say anything? Alright, let me fight.
Enemy them see me go, them such a level up by Shelly, sad my full of million. 6 when you see me up, when you grand and in the car. I'm Godfather, man a shot caller. Get a bubble like hot water. In a 6 no girl no want you. When I beg split, pocket never empty. Full of 50, full of 20. Man it been blue with me, 20. Pressure like a 6. Let me tell you something, yeah you are running. On the bench, just one bottle like a junkin'. I mean now this ship for your guys. Jumping for the bouncing. She got kill on the tongue. She got tongue. I mean I'm so serious. You want to find me if you want somebody around you. Forgot it up, be the man who shall run to. Good as no, me I feel admit it. You know what time it is, I say the word and I'll be with it, girl. Exceptional, sanctified. Me want to give you the fantasize, girl. Say it now for me forever, make the I'm so sad. And I change up my feeling. I'm going to stop up bitching. Sexy girl with a good at Ruffle back on the fancy shit. For me to get you do it, me get. Say that we don't know you. Watch me live, I say just I get it, girl. Everybody calling fire. Feel like you like the vibe. Let me tell you something. Yeah, you are running things. But the bitch just wanna walk like a junkie. I mean, I'm this shit for your job. Jumping when it like she bouncing. She not getting on the tongue. She got that ring. I mean,
Boom 1069.
Yeah. We're live. Oh man, Mario seems to be so busy. Just some good news out there for those folks in Canada who wish to come home, or for those Vincentian who wish to travel to Canada. Air Canada has resumed daily direct flights from Toronto to the Argyle International Airport. Yes, they started on Friday, so that's some good news there. There will be 3 flights per week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from December the 20th until the January the 10th, 2023. And after that, 2 flights per week on Tuesday and Thursday until the end of April 2023. Also, American Airlines is set to resume daily flights to St. Vincent and the Grenadines as of March the 3rd. So that's daily flights from American Airlines. So that's a good look there, with regards to traveling, with regards to flight, because a number of persons, they were complaining about flights, in and out of St. Vincent, so it's good to see Air Canada resuming that flight and Toronto, Mario. So I know that is your part, Yeah, but we're having a discussion here with regards to crime. We are seeing a number of comments and so forth. In general, there are persons, right, they're expressing their concerns. Yeah. In light of the double homicide over the weekend. As you know, sometime afternoon, about 3 to 4 gunmen, went to redemption shops or and exit a vehicle, and just just unleash, resulted in 2 fatality in Jeroy JJ Phillips, and one his alias is Seen, and his surname is Dishong. I think it's Lorenzo Dishong. He's described as a very cool and humble person. A number of persons in the Sharps community could attest to that. We have one viewer here. They're telling us where the incident took place. Yeah. It's about 3 houses from theirs. So they were in the vicinity to hear all the barrage, the amount of shots that were fired. So you know what I mean. We're told at least 20, over 20 in total. So it's very unfortunate that we're hearing about this, and our condolences to the family that grieves. Somebody said, Mario, then as the media, you should link with the commissioner to hear what he has on these crimes. They are paid to serve and protect. This country is not that large, and the dots can be drawn on the crime board easier than you think.
Right. Yeah, and I agree, Fernando. That's definitely something that we should follow up on, because far too often we say that this should happen, that should happen, or we should get a statement. But every journey starts with the first step, all right? And if we can make the first step and make that connection, I don't know what you're doing after the show. We could take a walk and see if we can get some things happening. You know what I'm saying? And have that ready for them for tomorrow.
I have some information as well with regards to the 34th murder that took place there in Chester Cottage. Okay, that his surname is Mac. He goes by the alias Squeezy, and Squeezy is from a family there in Chester Cottage that has been under attack for a number of years now. Squeezy is a main witness in an attempted murder case, and before he could testify, Squeezy, he was murdered. We don't know what will become of the case, but I assume that, I could imagine it still has to go on, because they still have 4 more key witnesses in that case. But the Mack family would have been attacked for a number of years now, and they were asking for some help with regards to addressing that crime situation. There is a guy, a British sailor, who is currently awaiting whatever penalty. He's still before the court with regards to the attempted murder case on Squeezy nephew. He would have alleged to attempt to take the life of one of Steve Mac's nephew. So that situation is another kind of fragile, because that come out from some gang situation there that resulted in one man being killed, and then from that is just a barrage and a number of attack against a family there. So that is something we have to pay close attention to. You know what I mean? Presidency. But Fernando, if, as you just said, they travel by car much from car, it should have been too difficult to find. It shouldn't be too difficult to find. Sorry. Yes. So we are told a vehicle, maybe a jeep or a car, but it is a vehicle that they would have come out from, at least 3 to 4 gunmen. So that is a situation there that needs to be addressed, and we are asking the authorities to please give us some information, provide some information to us, and come in, visit us, come for a nice interview, and let us talk about it. Let our listeners know, the people of St. Vincent and Grenadines know what is taking place there. Mario, we have a fish market story. I don't know if you have that lineup, but prior,
I'm just trying to get this camera to be able to.
I see you're real busy, boy. You're left in me stranded. Some highly favored set of Jeep. So we are being told there. I see a camera coming in. Set it up. We are being told the gunmen came out of a Jeep, and they would have about 4 to 3 of them, and they would have offloaded some serious firepower. Mary, greetings. I see Bernadette is here saying good day to all. We had a call, but I think the call stopped. But Mario, I know I would have visited the Kingston Fish Market last week, because we wanted to do a follow-up with from the vendors. The vendors, they had a protest. They had staged a protest outside the fish market, where they were protesting the increase from the agriculture import warehouse. They would have been protesting that increase, and they would have gotten a reduction. They didn't get the full increase. So since then, they're back in the market. They're doing that job. But we would have went out there and speak with them. So I think you will show that in a while from now. But it was very interesting.
About 2 minutes, and
it was very interesting to hear the vendors take about some want to satisfy some, they said they can't do anything else, but they were happy that the agricultural input warehouse would have reduced the amount they were going to charge for them to operate there at the market.
Wow.
So that is something we are paying a close attention to.
Right.
And also we are asking those on the road, I know it's still early and you're coming into Kingston or you're going wherever you are to do your job, just be careful on the road, because we when coming down from on the Nelson Mandela Highway or the Leeward Highway, there was a series car, Toyota car, that collided with a pole across the botanical garden. So we're just asking the motorists, the drivers, and everybody to be careful.
Yeah, definitely. So and we also said that there's also a day of prayer apparently happening. As I'll get the information. With all the spirit of violence coming up, do you think that we need more days of prayer? Is that helping us? We want it. What?
Shady laugh, boy.
Shady laugh at me. Doc will ask why you're laughing.
Oh my goodness.
All right. So you want to bring one of those interviews right now before we go to council?
Yes. Let's bring in one of those interviews. Yeah. Thank you. Oh no. Yeah. So yeah. Interview about a few weeks ago, during the time that the agricultural input warehouse would have proposed some increases following the protest by the vendors outside the Kingston Fish Market and their refusal to go back to the stalls. The agricultural warehouse would have made some adjustment, and the full force that they were going with, they would have sort of reduced it by a number. Since what transpired, are you content with the reduction that they would have offered as opposed to the original offer they were making? Do you think altogether that they should not have put on any increase at all given the situation? What are your take?
Well, let me say, in every situation you can't get everything you truly wanted. Because I mean, if they go back to the normal way, it would have been what we wanted. But then they after certain days of protest, they came back to us and we have a meeting with them. And they reduced some of the prices. We know that we weren't looking for them to take off everything that they put on, because they say they're losing money. And if they're losing money, then they looking to use us to get all the resources they need, which we feel wasn't appropriate for us. So meeting us halfway, at least we kind of satisfied for that.
And do you think they could do anything for the vendors here at the market in terms of the agricultural input warehouse? Do you think the vendors have concern as well that they would like the agricultural warehouse to adjust?
Well, we have some little concerns, yes, because now they send a memo to us that we used to when you ice up your fish, they used to have the fish in and don't throw no ice on them. We ask them that since the fish is in your care and we paying for the services, you should look at the fish in your under your care and show at least some ice on them. We don't look for them to re-ice the whole box of fish, but on top to even throw some ice on top those boxes, and they refuse to do that. I mean, we don't go in off to say, well, we want a next strike for that or anything like that, but there is a concern of ours. So now they're saying that every 2 days they're going to ask who have fish for 2 days to come and re-ice them themselves, which is an expense. If you have to go and buy $20 more for ice, your fishes are $40 more go to how much fish you have. That is a more expense than us, so there's a concern we have, so we will have to take meet with the group and hear what they have to say and what action we we might take from that. I don't think we want a next striking time because we indifferent to that.
Yeah, in terms of the
Plain talk. Plain talk with Jumo Thomas.
So much things to say right now.
All you talk now on OMG.
All right. Okay, so we've got the council in the house right about now. As I try to fix my camera, council, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mario. Good morning, Fonando. Good morning, Shady. Good morning, most of all, to your listeners. I just want to weigh in a little on the conversation which you all were having as it relates to crime and violence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yes.
I think that if we take a close look, and be honest with ourselves, we would have to conclude that crime and violence are endemic. It's almost part of our daily living. And maybe if we go back to some of the writers like Amy Cisier and Franz Fanon, they tend to explain the kind of violence which we see among our people, and they take that all the way back to slave societies and the way in which these slave societies developed. We may think that we are far off in the sense that we have now gone 180 years since the abolition of slavery, but we have to remember that after the abolition of slavery in 1838, after the 4 years of apprenticeship, we have had at least another 150 years of colonialism, 130 years of colonialism, which was a very brutal form of foreign domination on our people. You all were talking, I think, correctly about the fact that we now have 36 homicides.
Yes.
And I saw in the media, on Eyewitness News, where there was a report of a shooting on Union Island where somebody was shot.
Shady was telling us about that as well.
So, there's rumors of physical and other form of brutality, one's type of the other by different individuals. Physical abuse, wild activity. I heard Mario was mentioning the fact that we kind of see that there's a simple altercation that escalates into something dramatic and sometimes fatal. I'm doing a case right now where some guys were at a karaoke and one thing led the next, and before you know it, one person was dead. So that's a real problem. How we solve it is another important question. I heard Mario, you and Fonando going at each other as to what is the role, what is the responsibility of the police, and police has a difficult task, and based on the tools they have and based on their disposition, I think that they make their task even more difficult. In all of the years that I have been practicing here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 15 years now. I've been practicing from 10 before that in New York.
Right.
I can't remember police using any kind of forensic evidence to solve any crime. I can't remember ever where the police introduced fingerprints to solve any crime. I mean, if we look at some of those crime TV stories, we see all kind of things that detectives in more developed parts of the world would use to pin a crime on one person or the other. Those techniques are alien to St. Vincent. I think we are getting there, but we are moving rather slowly. It must be said that if we are thinking about a homicide or any crime, but more so a homicide, if time elapses 48 hours, 1 week, and there's no break, the chances that crime is going to go unsolved.
The first 48 apparently is the
right. It's
really
crucial. Crucial. I saw where up to now there are about 2,200 homicides in New York.
Wow.
And a significant percentage of those remain unsolved. Because people are going to shoot someone or stab someone or beat someone in the head and stand there and wait for the police to come.
Yeah.
And most often than not, they're not going to shoot someone and kill someone and walk into the police station and say, I did it. So you have to have either there's police presence, and if there's police presence, you're not going to have any kind of serious escalation in crime unless that person is crazy mad. You know, I have a good Grenadian colleague of mine who says, to a large respect, many of our people are slaves. Both of us are driving on the road. You ask somebody to move, they don't move. The police ask them to move, and they move. So you have that kind of situation, and I think because if you go past 48 hours or go past a week, it's difficult to solve the crime. It is compounded by the fact that the police in St. Vincent has such poor relations with communities across the country.
Right.
You know, the police are legendary for roughhouse tactics. They're legendary for beating people and disrespecting people and pushing people around. And the slight resistance, slight response is met with a slap or a kick or a gun butt.
Right.
So when you're doing that to citizens, you make it virtually impossible, because you may think that you're doing this to Jomo sitting on a block, but Jomo has friends, Jomo has family, Jomo has parents, and you are locking off all of those people. When Jomo goes home with a busted lip or swollen eye or loses a tooth.
Right.
So unless the police change its attitude and develop real people-friendly relations, we are going to probably go further and further away from people coming forward and say, yes, I saw it. Because that too is compounded by the fact that a lot of the killings that we have, a lot of the homicides that we have are not random. They are structured, they are organized.
Right.
And if they are structured and organized, more and more people are feeling less secured in going to the police and making reports, eyewitness reports of what they saw, because they are afraid of repercussions. So if you have a lot of organized homicides, and then you have the police really roughhousing communities and treating communities as occupation zones,
right,
you're not going to have good relations, and consequently, you're not going to solve crime. So the disrespect, the brutality of mainly of poor people by police has to end. In St. Vincent, and you go to a block, you go to a village, it's not surprising to hear people call the officers in green beasts, or to hear them call those in black hawks. All both intimidating caricature of what they are seeing. So that has to be solved. I don't know how we're going to do it, but unless we think about doing it, that is not, we are going to have this problem continuing. Part of it too is that some of the most brutal police officers tend to advance rather rapidly.
Right.
Up the force.
Right.
So
that
is a problem.
So that behavior is rewarded.
I can list a name of police officers who should not be under force, and because of their sheer brutality, but they seem to be advancing rather rapidly. There was a point that Fonando made about we have to be tough on crime. Well, I understand that where a convicted criminal victimize the family and cause them to lose a loved one, most of us may want to see a sentence that is just and that is harsh. You want that person lost in prison. But that's a feel-good concept. It won't solve crime.
Yeah.
You know, revenge and satisfaction to the family. The family may want revenge. The people who know this person who had passed may want satisfaction. But revenge and satisfaction don't solve crime.
Yeah.
It make you feel good, but it don't. And the evidence is clear. If I can give you a United States example, in the states, mainly the southern states, where you have the death penalty, or where where the death penalty is frequently enforced.
Yeah.
Those are the states that have most crime violence, most homicides. So that is, to me, is definitive proof that to be tough on crime wouldn't solve the crime situation.
Right.
And remember back in 2001 when the ULP came in, the ULP had said it's going, PM Gonzalez and made the point that his administration is going to be tough on crime and tough on the causes of crime. Well, one of the things that we have seen is that the sentencing has now dramatically increased. So, for example, when I first started practicing here in 2000 and when did I start again, Roy? 2007. If you were convicted of murder, the starting sentence was normally 30 years. So you get convicted of murder and you don't get a death penalty, more than likely you might end up with 30 years. Now, the starting sentence is 40 years.
No.
So you get convicted and they may start at 40 years. So I don't know if you remember the guy Anwar Jack, who was accused of killing the
bishop or something.
The pastor. He ended up with 40 years, and then when they did the mitigating and aggravating sentence, I think he ended up with 31 years or so on. So the starting point for sentencing has gone up by 33%.
Right.
But that didn't stop crime. If you go to the court anytime the assize is open,
right,
there may be 100 matters on the list, on the cause list, and a good third of them, 25% to a third of them, are homicides. So I am not so sure that that is solving anything. So the other point we have to look at, if that is not solving, is how are we being tough on the causes of crime? And there's a lot of literature, and I know my good friend Emmanuel Kwashi, who is a PhD and very, very good brother, tremendous credentials. He just took up a position as a lecturer at the University of the West Indies at Mona, has argued, not persuasively to me, but he has argued a lot and makes a lot of good points, but not persuasively, that economic conditions are not the prime driver for crime. Well, if that's the case, how is it that across the world, the people who are incarcerated are from the lower economic strata and strata? But that is not the only thing, we must admit. Because if that were the case, if economic status and economic deprivation was the prime motivation for crime, then we may have had more people incarcerated.
Right.
Because take a place like St. Vincent, where we know we have a youth unemployment of plus 40%, and we have a poverty rate kicking up on 40%.
Right.
If economic conditions were solely responsible for crime, then we would have had a much higher crime rate.
Yeah, exactly.
But the thing that we have to remember as well is that in these societies, people are socialized in different ways. When we were growing up, if you knew somebody who was in prison and he was on the back of a prison truck, he wouldn't call you.
No, not at all. Exactly.
He would be ashamed to call you.
Yeah.
But now the mores are changing, but they're still there. And people are still convinced that they don't want, boy, I go embarrass mommy. Boy, I don't know how I can tell daddy this. My sister would be. So all of those socialization tendencies, attitudes, tend to deal with issues having to do with crime, and that's why we don't have more crime. But I am persuaded that the dismal economic conditions for the lower quarter of the population is what drive a significant amount of the crime. And then you have the culture which tell people, it presents to people what they should do to become comfortable. In other words, the society says you should live in such a way. This is the good life.
Yeah, right.
But the society don't offer the ways and means for more and more people to live the good life.
Yeah.
And consequently, people say, all right, as 50 Cent says, I'm going to get
rich
or die
trying.
Or die trying.
Yeah.
So that's the difficulty we have, Mario. So unless we take all of those issues in the mix, we ain't doing nothing.
Yeah.
We will talk about it until what the old people say, until the cows come home. But nothing is going to happen. That's my take for this morning.
That are some amazing talking points, Council. Give us 2 seconds. Let's do a top of the hour ID, catch some vibes from Shady, and then we're going to unpack a lot of what you said, because those are points that we cannot ignore. It's a combined effort, and yeah, we need to look at each factor and figure out how we can, as a society, smooth things out. We're coming back top of the hour right after this.
We are the trending station. We are the trending station.
Me say action movie, you don't know it go. Boom, 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 boom.
Boom 1069.
You don't see what going on in the country, you know. Look at island called Jamaica. Every day in the man fall. Shooting uptown, downtown, all around town. I don't want to be a clown, you know. Cause Rastafari want I to stick around. Hey now, I said something like this. Hey yo, park your guns, bad boys. No more killing spree. No shoot out parade, cause man feel live free. No big money spend, no shot in and no head, yo. We no want no youth for dead. Hey, park your guns, bad boys. No more killing spree. No shoot out parade, cause man feel live free. No big money spend, no shot in and no head, yo. Cause if we get a youth for live, hey, appear top thing, appear the than thing. Every man a swing to him own thing. Appear bling, bling, not yell the king. That's why them confused and frustrated. Aye, the life you live is the road you choose, yeah. Live it good and don't you be confused, yeah. Oh, I know the ways of life. Oh, I know the ways of life. Makes no sense, create no enemies, oh yeah. Life within its purity, oh yeah. And as I say, protect your life. Hey, pop your guns, bad boy. No more killing spree. No shoot out parade, cause man feel live free. No big money spend, no shot in and no head, yo. Every ghetto youth feel live. Hey, pop your guns, bad boy. No more killing spree. No shoot out parade, cause man feel live free. No big money spend, no shot in and no head, cause every ghetto youth feel live.
Boom 1069. SVG's number one.
Yeah, we're back here with our council. Got to let you know what's going on first and foremost with Max Pizza and Kitchen in Beckway. You know how they do it. Give them a holler, and you can order your pizza to come to your place on Friday. So put your order in by Thursday night by 10 p.m. and you can get your pizza delivered hot and fresh to the main line via the Beckway Express. And if you don't want to go down and check it out, I have a certain number you could call a little Uber Nation, and they will definitely handle you and bring your pizza to you. So it's like you're ordering it from Max straight to your house. Trust me, Max Pizza and Kitchen in Beckway. Come on, man. Pizza with a whole difference. And of course, I say big respect to the Flow Posse. Flow's got you covered with connectivity. Gonna give you a whole bunch of details on that in a little bit, but we're into plain talk right about now. Council's in the house. Council, good morning once again to you. And we're discussing the factors that lead to crime in any developed society.
Yeah.
Council, you cited a bunch of factors, which I totally agree with. It is a combined effort. I find too often. Fonando, there's a caller coming in, but too often people cite just one thing and say we need to change this or get tougher on this or do this or just have a day of prayer. But I think that there are a bunch of factors that need to be changed. Caller, good morning. You're live on Boom.
Good morning. I
Hey.
want to call back to ask the council something here. Morning, council. How are you?
Morning.
Right. Council, do you think for the number of crimes that are happening in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we are not getting any response because I spoke about this morning with Mario and the guys, and we're not getting any response. Don't you think that the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines deserve an answer from the Commissioner of Police, the Chief of National Security, and know what is happening in our police force, who is there to serve and protect? And if so, if not, don't you think that we should organize, like, if we can have like a different system that could deal with crimes and so forth? Because I'm often saying, what is it? Is it a problem that to say we can't have something like a private investigating office where much people would feel comfortable going to and filing a complaint and getting some job, because we have excellent police officers who leave the force and could still own a service to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And because what in St. Vincent we seems as though a lot of people are scared to go to the police and talk, and if they know of anything, to lodge a complaint or to say they see something or they hear something, because sometimes these things, when you go to the police, we hear a lot of things leaking back out, and the police are not competent. So my question is, if there's anything that we can do to try to help with the crime rates and the crimes and different things that are happening, rape and all these sort of things that are happening to our youngsters. We hear about guys going to
Well, I thought I tried to answer your question to deal with some of those issues. Yeah. Certainly, the Commissioner of Police, the Minister of National Security can make statements on the matter. I know in some countries, when there's a spiraling crime rate, people in the given community where homicide or some horrible situation took place, people may organize themselves, they may protest, they may demonstrate, they may call on the authorities to do things. Prime Minister Gonzalez's statement about being tough on crime and being tough on the cause of crime came as a direct result, you may recall, that when he was in opposition, he was saying that the then ruling New Democratic Party was not tough on crime and was not solving crime. In fact, he went so far as to accuse the Commissioner of Police then of being in collusion with certain forces. So I have always said that I think it's a bad idea for politicians to blame other politicians. I mean, it's a sexy political charge to make.
Right.
But I think it's a bad idea for politicians to blame other politicians for crime. But since you say you are the executive and you want to lead the country, you have to ensure that there's a perception of safety, if not actual safety. So it's sexy when things are spiraling out of hand to blame the governing party. And sometimes you see in some countries, based on the spike in crime, they may call for the removal of the Commissioner of Police. There may be a change in the Minister of National Security. We saw that in Trinidad. We saw that in Jamaica. But I am not so sure those personnel administrative changes are really tied up with solving the crime situation at all. So I think the statements would be good, but they are not. The statement in themselves would not solve crime. There has to be something that's taking place in the superstructure of the society, the kind of discourse we have, the kind of outreach the society has to people who are on the edge. I heard you all had a conversation about a week or 2 weeks ago about state authorities, state officials meeting with perceived gang leaders, trying to see if they can get a handle on it. And some people were very, very upset by that. How could state authorities speak to perceived
gang leader?
Gang leaders? Well, the fact that a man is a perceived gang leader doesn't mean you have actionable intelligence that can bring him before a court and convict him.
Right.
People have to remember, take a leader, a gang leader like John Gotti.
Or Al Capone.
Or Al Capone. They didn't get Al Capone on murder, and they got Al Capone on tax evasion. They got John Gotti, where one of his top lieutenants squealed on him. So, for example, the guy who the feds used to get John Gotti, one of the most notorious drug gang leaders in New York, was this guy called the Bull Gravano.
Yes.
And when he stood up to testify, he said, "Look, I'm a bad guy. I killed 21 persons. But I'm here to tell you that if you think I'm bad, John Gotti is even worse."
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
So, you're not gonna the way in which you're not gonna get gang leaders simply by saying, "Oh, I think that he's involved in crime." You have to have something that ties him in.
Yeah.
And once
you can make it actionable.
you can tie him in, then you can take him to court and try to get him convicted and put away. But to the extent that you know, boy, that man Jomo is a bad man.
Yeah.
Then you don't have nothing on me.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing actionable on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then it's difficult.
Counsel, we've got a caller on the line. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, my brother, and good morning, Mr. Thomas. Good morning to everybody.
Hey,
let me be clear here, Mr. Thomas. When I came to your office sometime, you spoke to me in a very liberal way. I was very happy because I said we have some politicians in the PULP that seem to, I believe, I'm seeing St. Lucia Grenada fighting hard to make sure St. Lucia crime, I think they had very early by June, 20 murders, I think over 23 murders. And what we are seeing now, both the administration before this administration, current the youngster, Mitchell, are literally saying we have to knit with the public. And I'm saying, to cut a long story short, we are not going to get that with Mr. Gonsalves. I experienced horror in my very house, 9 o'clock at night. The police came, they took me down because I was giving information on coronavirus. They said the deputy commissioner wanted to speak to me. They was there waiting for him, Mr. Thomas. When 12 o'clock come, they said, "We have some bad news for you, man. We have to keep you on here." So they put me in a cell with 2 other criminals. I am saying, God bless the sergeant. About 5 minutes after he called me, said, I called the deputy and said to him, "No way, this man is not a criminal. Let the man go back home if you want him." And he put me in a vehicle. I reached back home minutes to 1.
But Mr.
Yes, my brother, go ahead.
I think that I'm not sure if you are dealing with the issue that we're dealing with. For example, hold on, let me finish, sir. Let me finish for a minute. You just said that St. Lucia. St. Lucia, I am reading from when you said it, I went and checked it out on Google.
Yes.
August 10th report from the Voice of St. Lucia.
Yes.
At that time, they had recorded 41 homicides, and you said 21.
In June, by June. I'm not following it up. But what I'm saying, St. Lucia has a culture like us with the young Yorker. But I'm not talking about, I'm talking about a lot of these countries. Well, we see Grenada now just around, say, 10, and that is the situation. But what I'm saying, crime basically is a very serious situation when you put guns in your hand. But what I'm saying, we are speaking about how do we stop it? How do we fix it? And I am only saying to you, I'm saying that the current situation, we can't fix it. 2018.
How do you propose we fix it?
Well, okay, a professor came in 2018. He said he said this, the homicide rate in the Grenadines, we must arrest it because he said we are now in an endemic stage and we have to be careful enough. And he made a recommendation. I followed it up. I said in that document, I will send it to you. One of the things he spoke about is
I know the document very well. You're talking about Professor Tony Harriet from Jamaica.
He was at the Methodist Church, and when he came,
Tony Harriet from Jamaica.
He said, "This is what we have to do." But what I'm saying, Mr. Thomas, trying to understand. I believe under Jomo Thomas, I'm not here making up any Spanish thing. I believe it. Under Jomo Thomas' watch, you would say to the police, "Let we walk with the public." You're not going to send somebody in somebody's house. You're not going to arrest somebody. You're not going to send 19 policemen to. You are going to actually.
That's not true. I'll send people to your house if I have evidence.
If you're a criminal, but you don't send. But when you send people in somebody's home, partisan. If I did some crime, I had gone or something. And what we're seeing here is for 21 years, Mr. Thomas, it's unacceptable the way the police are being used and promoted. And I'm only saying, Mr. Thomas, it isn't going to fix. We need to get people, and I am not seeing it in the of the NDP and the current ULP. I
So who
believe
do you think? So who should solve it?
I
You're not
wish
seeing it
that I
in
could,
ULP. You're not seeing
if
it.
I could have my way, Mr. Thomas, because I've told you I'm not voting.
But you're not gonna have your way. You're not gonna have it.
But let me say to you, I wish we could have stable-headed folk. I am looking at the young Mitchell, and I listened to this man carefully, and he's sending that tone to the police officers, that even from the public relations section, we need to start to interact. Do you get any impression that any
No,
of
but
them...
you have to admit, though, that when it comes to gun violence, Grenada is a different kettle of fish. I don't think Grenada has, the last time I checked, Grenada had 7 homicides, and 5 of them, 5 of them were with knives and cutlass. Only 2 were with guns. So Grenada does not, and it's interesting because Grenada is the country of guns in the Southern Caribbean, right? They had a revolution.
The revolutionary.
All right, thanks very much, Hamon. Counselor, what do you think equate for that situation in Grenada?
What do I think? What
mentality?
Hold on, hold on.
What do I think? What?
What do you think equate for that? What do you think is the result?
The Grenada situation?
Yes.
Well, I think part of the reason is that the people of Grenada have seen, in a real sense, what guns can do. They made a revolution, which was the violent overthrow of one government.
Right.
And then they had the implosion of the revolution, which resulted in many people getting killed, including the former prime minister and some of his ministers. And then you had even greater violence by the American invasion. And you saw what happened with that.
Yeah.
So with those 3 experiences between 79 and 83, you had 3 traumatic gun-related, bomb-related situation that caused serious trauma and serious death and destruction in Grenada. And as a consequence, I think people swear off guns and gun violence. That is one. I think that's one way to look at it, because Grenada also have issues of poverty and unemployment and so on. But we don't have people apparently going towards gun violence to solve their difficulties and their problems.
Well, that's it, and there's a callous nature toward life. Like I've heard, by the way, comments, bullets cheap now, and this and that and the other. There's a trivialization of taking someone's life these days. That permeates the block. It's almost glamorized. And as long as you can see things in that light and detach yourself from what the consequence of that is, then you're not going to change the behaviors.
Absolutely, Maria. I think you're onto something here too, because you hear people talking, and some people, the whole glamorization. Men will tell you, well, or the whisper is there that you see Jomo. He has 3 bodies under his belt already, and he's still walking around the street. So if that is the case, why would because you have to remember, the first time you pull the trigger, there's an adrenaline rush, and you may find the need. In fact, I will never forget, I was sitting in a barber shop in New York years ago, and this young man, silly as he was, he didn't know who was in the barber shop. But he started talking that he lived in Pennsylvania, and he said the first time he shot and killed a man, he ran like a horse because he wanted to escape the scene. And then he did it again, and he did not feel as compelled to run. He said, but the 3rd time he shot and killed someone, he simply just turned and walked away. So the more you become accustomed to this kind of violence, is the least concern you would have, either getting caught or anything. And plus, if you're young, remember, young people don't think anything is going to happen to them.
No doubt.
Counselor, do you think we have a problem whereby police are working with criminals?
No.
I
don't see any evidence of that. I've never seen any evidence of that. And if that's the case, we have serious problems in the police force.
How concerned are you about the number of unsolved murders, and what is the message are we sending to the criminals?
Very concerned, but I don't think it's a message that we are sending. It's the inability to solve the crime. I don't think we are sending a message by a crime being unsolved. You don't have the methods to solve it. You don't have people who saying, yes, I saw Jomo slap Fonando, so how are you going to solve it? I don't think there's a message there. What it says is that there's there's a certain a difficulty, a problem with crimes being committed and coming to having the wherewithal to solve it. But I don't think it's a message by the crime not being solved.
Right.
I think the crime not being solved exposes our inadequacy.
Right.
I don't think the authorities sending a message by saying, "Look, you can commit a crime."
Do you don't think the criminals gather anything from that?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I'll give you another example from my New York experience. If a person were to rob a white person, right? That the police would pursue them. Let's say they rob them in Brooklyn. The police may pursue them all the way up to the Bronx or the Queens. And then the criminals start realizing, if I rob a black person, once I get around the corner,
you're good to
I have
go.
a greater chance of getting away. So they start victimizing their own community more.
Right.
Because they realize the chance of getting away is greater if they victimize the community. If they go after a white person or Asian person, they may have their escape chances maybe less.
Right.
So having internalized that, they do what they know is best for their own survival.
Exactly.
So the same thing holds here. If a person who is criminally inclined look at that reality and make decisions and make judgments based on that.
Exactly. And that's not a transmission by the police force at all. Good morning, caller. You're live on Boom.
Morning.
Back in the 90s, I read in the St. Vincent paper, there was this guy who lived in Brooklyn for a number of years, and he came back to St. Vincent for a little while. And he said that the police used to sell drugs, and the police would raid his house. But there was a member of the drug squad used to tip him off. He used to pay him and used to tip him off when they come into his house so he could hide his drugs. He admitted that in the newspaper. So when Jomo say he don't think they're criminals working with police, that's that right there.
No. But my friend, I am not saying that we may never have such an incident. I'm not saying that you look. There's a case going now where a police officer is said to have taken ammunition from a police station and sold it to civilians. So I'm not saying there's never going to be such a case. All I'm saying, I don't think it's a generalized practice where police officers are tipping off criminal elements. I'm not saying it never happened. I'm not saying it's not happening now, and I'm not saying that it would not happen in the future. Because if a criminal element has a deep pocket and he can tell a police officer, boy, every time you give me a tip, if there's going to be a raid, I'll give you $5,000, $10,000. That's sweet incentive.
I think that happens in Jamaica a lot. I have had a lot of stories about corruption, the police corrupted in Jamaica, where sometimes the police would pull you over in Jamaica and you pay them, and they'll just let you go without writing up a ticket. Many stories. Right. Have a good day.
All right, thank you so much, caller. Boy, Council, thank you so much. We've got to make way for Mr. Weeks. He comes up in
Mario. I was just going to tell you I got to run. I got people knocking on my door and I couldn't get up to go and answer the door. So that means I probably lost thousands of dollars already.
Oh, gosh.
Until we meet again. Take care.
Yes, sir. See you tomorrow. Jomo Thomas with Plain Talking on 169 FM. We have got to take a commercial break and come back. I do have some live scripts that I should be reading to you right now. Like I said, Flow is keeping you connected. We can get more value every day with upgraded always-on combo plans from Flow. Enjoy unlimited WhatsApp, including video chat and voice, and up to 15 gigs of LTE data, more talk, and more sports on the go with 3-day plans starting as low as $12. Step up at your favorite vendor, in-store kiosks or online at topupflow.com to stay connected to the moments that matter. Terms and conditions apply. Flow, keeping you connected. We come back right after this with Mr. Weeks.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
In collaboration with yourself. General Hardware still has the best prices on steel.
At Pharmacy Plus, you can get your personal care, hair care, prescription, dental, and over-the-counter, and medical supplies at affordable prices. Located on Egmont Street, opposite Home Collection. We're open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pharmacy Plus, for supreme care and more.
Hardware's a pleasant experience.
You can win when you top it up, switch it up, set it up on the love. Easy wins with love. Easy wins.
Get the easy summer vibes with over $70,000 in cash and prizes. Just top up $10 or more. Activate a prepaid plan, switch to Flow, or bundle your home services to get your share of $70,000 in cash, data, Samsung Galaxy devices, shopping vouchers, and more.
You can win when you top it up, switch it up, set it up on the love. Easy wins with love.
Low terms and conditions apply.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
You can win when you top it up, switch it up, set it up on the love. Easy wins with love. Easy wins.
Get the easy summer vibes with over $70,000 in cash and prizes. Just top up $10 or more. Activate a prepaid plan, switch to Flow, or bundle your home services to get your share of $70,000 in cash, data, Samsung Galaxy devices, shopping vouchers, and more.
You can win when you top it up, switch it up, set it up on the love. Easy wins with love.
Low terms and conditions apply.
From now until December 31st, get 20.
Bull 1069. Come on. SVG's number one.
My girl bougie, but she's so nice. Love her, she no fussy, she's just living her life. She tell me that she wants to go to country tonight. She wants to see where I'm from, she wants to go for a ride. The next day we go a El Shah, go link screechy. We had a food and then we sit down and a easy till she hear the music and fling her shoulder to how she go and who that thinks that she a raver. Oh, when you are par with me, a good time is guaranteed. Build up your vibes and get tired. Tonight we are gonna touch a party. Oh, and when you are par with me, a good time is guaranteed. Build up your vibes and get tired. Tonight we are gonna touch a party. From me get your baby, meet me race and like the number 10. You raise the bar so I right now make you see none of them. No, with you my future bright, so now I can't look back again. Some of them are 5 and 6, but girl you a 10 out of 10. You're real, I'ma love it, yeah, you're not pretend. You are set the trend, baby, you are a gem. The love of me I said, I hope that you can comprehend. You know deal with only fans because me I your only man. Let's go to Ochi, oh what a vibe. Stones River Falls will be somewhere you would like. Then we go to Senti, Treasure Beach, Chota Pelican Bar, you know they both have to reach. Then we go to Negril, then to Mobay, yeah. Go to Portland for a couple days. Kingston City, life for the party. It's a Wednesday, so wedding ready. When you are
On radio. Time to connect with the most loved man on radio. Sir Lancelot is in the building.
All right, and as we wait for Mr. Weeks to check in, got to let you know that the SVG Coalition of Churches will be staging a prayer walk for the nation today, Monday, 7th November. The prayer walk, which is being organized in an effort to call attention to the goodness of God towards St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This country in the last few years has experienced a number of challenges, including an outbreak of dengue fever, the COVID-19 pandemic, the eruption of La Soufrière volcano, and numerous floods. It is hoped that the walk will remind Vincentians that in the midst of all these challenges we have faced, God has been good to us and bring about a sense of goodness and righteous living. The walk will start in the vicinity of the NIS headquarters at 11:30 a.m. and proceed down Bay Street, turning up Lindley Street onto Back Street and ending at Heritage Square. There'll be stops along the way with special prayers being said by various church leaders. This includes prayers for the general well-being of our citizens, unity of the church, youths of the nation, the justice system, and a call to holiness. The theme for the prayer walk for the nation is God's Church United in Acts of Prayer and Praise. The SVG Coalition of Churches is calling on all Vincentians to be a part of this important activity, recognizing that our faith in God will see us through. And let's see if we've got Mr. Weeks on the line right about now. Good morning.
Good morning, Mario.
Hey, how you doing, my friend? Good Monday to you.
Thank you. Same to you. It's a pleasure to be on talking with you guys this morning again.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, we start a brand new week.
Mm-hmm. Everything's reset.
Yes. Well, I can't say that because you guys have brought over last week's event. Not that I'm criticizing that.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the reset, yeah, that's something we need to do. Morning, Fonando. Shady.
Good morning, Mr. Weeks.
And greetings to all of you listeners.
Yes, sir.
Well, Mario, I want to venture into what you guys have been discussing all morning, and I would say at the outset, this is not an area that I have studied.
Mm-hmm.
So you won't hear me talking about any theories and what the intellectuals said about this.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, in the past, when I talk about the things that I've studied, I get a lot of pushback, a lot of criticism, so I can understand what would happen today.
Well, let the games begin.
Never do that. I think it's an important subject that must engage, or all of us must engage. Not just in speaking about it, but thinking about it and taking small actions where possible to deal with the issue.
Right.
By the way, I'm talking about the state of violence that we are experiencing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yes.
And I might say around the Caribbean, around the world. To the extent it is the improvement in communication that amplifies the problem, I can't say. It may be a contributing factor. What I mean by that, I know we always had violence.
Right.
And in the days when it took months to get a letter from England, or from even closer in Barbados, weeks, months, whatever the case may be. These days, it's instantaneous. So by the time something happened in Greg's or in Chateaubelair, the persons around the country already know about it. And therefore, we know more about what is happening around the country. And certainly that is impacting us in the area of violence, because we are hearing, and those of you who can see are seeing it almost instantaneously, as I said. And it creates this impact. In talking about the issue, there are many approaches you can take in discussing it, in analyzing the situation. As a social scientist, I know you can throw in all the factors, and you can discuss all of the factors that you think impact crime, impact violence, positively or negatively. But you run the area, if you're not careful, you run the risk, of making the error of treating all of these factors as causes. And that can be quite dangerous, because if you do that, you can't solve the problem. Because there's a difference between a cause and a simple association. So when, for example, someone tells me that I am not persuaded that the economic reality is not a driver, it's not a cause in the level of crime, because all of the persons who are caught committing crime and who are caught perpetrating violence and jailed are from that class of the society.
Right.
It's a serious risk we run, and I don't need much to persuade me on that, because I can look at myself and I can look at the persons who came out of my generation, and even today, and I can see many of us who were extremely poor, and we didn't get into violence. So I don't need much to persuade me on that.
Right.
But I understand that there's an association, because you can see what is happening there. But the point I'm making, I believe the problem is much deeper than simply looking at your economic status, looking at your income earning ability. The problem is much deeper than that. So that's one approach you can take. You can look at all the factors, and you can also look at the historical approach, where you look at what happened in the past, what happened now, and you can, in a way, what happened in the past, what is happening now, and in a way you can predict what will happen in the future. Again, that will provide an interesting analysis of the situation. So in the past, we had crimes committed in a particular way. Most of it were, based on my experience, were domestic crimes committed in the household, or committed among persons in the neighborhood.
Right.
And the instruments used at that time were a sharpened object that you use on a regular basis at home, cutlass and knife, or a blunt object that simply lie around, a stone, a bottle. Those are what were used in the past to commit
crimes,
violence. Now, a significant amount of what is used. A significant amount of the violence that are perpetrated, at least those that are coming to our attention, and we are spending time discussing, are committed to the use of guns. So is it simply because guns are available now that guns crime are being committed? I think the problem is deeper than that. I believe the guns contribute, but the problem is deeper than that. I think Mr. Thomas made an interesting observation this morning when he was discussing the police. One of the things that he indicated is that police can't solve crime because they're rough and they handle the population, the citizens, in a kind of way where the citizens will never cooperate with them. And I agree with him on that. But the question is, why are the police rough like that? And we can simply say it's because they're in a uniform, it's because they have the sole authority in using coercive power.
The right type of training as well is probably needed.
But we can look further than that. And we can ask, are our citizens treating each other differently to the way the police is treating us? And my answer is no, because that is exactly what is happening when these violent acts are perpetrated.
That's an interesting observation.
It is 2-3 persons sitting on a block, and sometimes a very silly argument, and it ends with violence. So the point that Mr. Thomas made about the way we look at each other, the way we look at life, and the value we place on life, I believe that is part of the underlying issue, the deeper root of the cause of violence. So then we have to go further than that, and we have to ask, why is that so? Why have we come to the point where we have trivialized life, we have devalued life, that using the common parlance, a man pre you, and you want to wipe him out, or her out, a woman. Those of us who follow the regional media would have heard a few months ago, 2 or 3 months ago, a man traveling to a rural area in a Caribbean country, and a distant cousin provided him with accommodation because he wanted to look for work in that area. And the man testified in court that he killed this woman and 4 of her children, savagely cutting their throat because the woman was spraying him. And it takes me back to the question, why he has come to that point, why he came to that point, where he saw taking the life of 4 innocent children, 4 helpless children, along with their young mother, a 34-year-old woman. Why did he think it is necessary to do that? Simply because this woman, who is his cousin, this woman who provided him with lodging, and maybe more than lodging, why he thought he can simply take the lives of these persons because the mother was watching him. There is something that is socializing us. It has to do with the socializing. We copy things from abroad. We copy things that we see.
Yeah.
Most often than not what we read. Because many of these persons do not get engaged in reading. It is the device in the hand that they're looking at all the time, a 30 seconds video, a 3-minute video, and that's a movie. That's a movie. A 3-minute video, that's a movie. They're not getting involved in reading and seeing all the factors, all of the things that lead up to this thing. And we simply copy the high point. And very often we use that to socialize ourselves. We listen to the music and we don't hear the good, encouraging lyrics. We hear, I am a bad man. And if you diss me, I'll take care of you. And we copy that into our lives. But you know what? The persons who ought to be more responsible than that. And while I am not saying this is a cause of crime, it will take the crime to another level. I'm talking about when we introduce violence into the politics of our society. Again, we can go back to a Caribbean country, and the readings are there. That in the past you had ordinary folks in the society, and politicians empowered them, gave them contracts, and they became dons. So one time when the politicians were giving them contracts, the politicians were able to control them. And based on these contracts and the illegal activities that these persons got involved in, it got to a point where politicians no longer control them. They control the politicians and they control the political situation.
Right.
We have seen in recent times where politicians are in a subtle way introducing violence in our politics. You put a portrait of a politician on display, and you have people winning prizes by throwing objects, throwing missiles, trying to hit a particular point. That's not good enough. We must not get engaged in that. Because what you're doing, you're indoctrinating the young minds that it is okay to take shot at the politician. And you know, I was surprised after that when I heard a relatively young politician came to the studios of Boom and said he was having an activity and he was going to put on a helmet and have the patrons throw objects at his head. And I thought, where are we going with this? Where would it end? Because you do that to justify the one that took place before. That it wasn't really political, it's just fun we are having. But it's enough fun to have persons throwing objects at you. Especially at your head, where you have to protect your head with a helmet. And these are the sort of things that take us in a particular direction, and we have to step in and we have to stop them. And it happens on the other side too. They talk that we hear on the other side of the political fence I'm talking about.
Right.
It happens there too. the language that we use, the tone that is used, in speaking about your opponent.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. We need to stop it. I believe that this violence will not stop immediately because it is deep-rooted and we have to root it out. Not necessarily root it out by being tough and being harsh. We have to root it out by getting our children to think otherwise from very early. We have to socialize them differently. We have to be able to, we have to teach them to be tolerant.
Yeah.
Teach them to be peaceful. Teach them to talk to each other kindly rather than in the rough way we normally talk to each other. And to me, that is the only way we will get rid of this violence. And as I said, it will not be immediately. It may not even be in the intermediate time. It may well be in the long run. But in the meanwhile, there are things that we still have to do. The police have to utilize the technology and the training that is available to them so that they can solve crimes when they are committed. We can use the technology by putting up more cameras. And we have to have people who can monitor these cameras so that they can respond. As I said, I may have rambled because it's not an area that I have studied. I was speaking mainly on what I've observed over the years.
Right.
And that's my contribution, Mario.
Thank you so much, Mr. Weeks. And we've got some folks here saying, lack of people handling skills is a huge problem with the police. It's almost a case of I am in charge here. Do as what? Well, do as you're told mentality, in my opinion, is what someone's saying here. But so there are folks that are honestly agreeing with what you're saying, that it's definitely something that's deeper than just one person or one factor, but it starts with the people. Pastor says that a lot of times too. The problem isn't policies and so forth. Problems is the people and the people's the people's attitudes towards things. And I think that this is a really good way for us to wrap it up, Mr. Weeks. I think that you're right. It may not be in the short term, but as long as we groom our kids properly and have them lead with dialogue rather than defensiveness, then we could definitely foster some change.
Yes.
Thank you, Mario.
Thank you so much.
Do that in the media as well.
Yes, sir.
All right.
We all have the responsibility. Thank you so much, buddy. All right. There you go, Mr. Weeks, dropping some bombs on us today, and I like it. I like it. Definitely sharing,
expressing his thoughts
and sharing familiar concern, because people are saying the same things. We need to wake up as a culture, as a community, as a village, for us to honestly be able to create change.
Yeah. So Adventurous in Vincent said, great discussion. We must continue this debate on crime and violence.
Yes.
We need a multifaceted strategy to tackle this problem. This strategy should address the youth unemployment challenge, overall underlinedness and discipline within the general society, conflict de-escalation in schools and beyond, strengthening of the capabilities of law enforcement and others. Is we are to make a dent into this problem. Of course, this requires a sustained effort over time.
Yeah,
Such my brother.
Yeah, looks like you got a call there. And it's an everybody responsibility. You should start it up low.
I realize that.
And kick it in.
Caller, please call back. Okay.
Yeah, but it is a village approach, right? And I think people are echoing that sentiment. That we all need to step up and and contribute to this if we want to see a change. It's not just, boy, the police are a bit tougher on crime. I know that's what you wanted to tell me today. I know that's what you wanted to come with today. But the people are speaking and they're saying, unanimously, everybody everybody needs to play a part.
Yes,
Good morning.
Carla. Good morning.
Morning. Happy Monday.
Hey! Yes.
What's going on?
We there.
I just want to say, everything. I miss Mr. Week's presentation, which I know he always does bring the fire.
Right.
Regardless, I literally just logged on and I just heard. When I log on, I heard you were saying we gotta wake up, Mario.
Yeah.
And in order for us to wake up, we have to realize we're sleeping. I'm gonna say that again. In order for us to wake up, we have to realize we're sleeping. Mario, I live 3,000 miles away from St. Vincent. Years ago, I saw the trend that we were going. I addressed the crime issue in St. Vincent. Remember, we was top 10, top 15, top 20 in the world per capita years ago. When I put that on my social media platform, people come tagging me and telling me crime in New York, crime in Brooklyn, and me live in Washington, D.C. And my thing is, we have to admit we have a problem, and I always say this on my social media page. I always say it on the airwaves. In the first step in solving a problem is acknowledging the problem. Full time now, we just deflect our problem and bring comparison with some places. We ain't talking about somebody else, because if I go doctor and the doctor tell me, Max, you have full-blown AIDS. Why are you going to tell the doctor, boy, Mario break his hand yesterday, and he have a cash? We go discuss Mario break, and I'm going to discuss my AIDS and what kind of pills I need to take to bring my blood count up so I won't dead.
Right.
So we have to have a cultural shift. And we have to really admit we have a problem. If not, we would never solve this problem.
Yeah.
Now, we saying parents supposed to raise the children. When a child go to school, the child is not in the care or the supervision of a parent. Meanwhile, we see somebody else in front of our children doing something wrong, and we ignore them.
Yeah.
We as a community supposed to be able to come and say, big man, Max is me brethren. Just like how we man at the rum shop did violate the woman who spit in the woman's face not too long ago. And I was saying, when people are drink rum, they don't drink rum by themselves, they just drink rum with friends. So as a brethren, you're supposed to say, by Max, that's stripping. Instead of when they spit in at a woman's face.
Yeah.
You should have never got that far. So we as people now, just give our friends them quote-unquote a blight. But if somebody else you don't like do something similar, not as the level as your friend them did it, you're going to chastise the people, but you're going to ignore your friends and them. So we have to really look at what have us here now today. Remember, St. Vincent, in my opinion, that's a negative as far as crime is concerned. We're trying to get to zero. Then when you get to zero, you have to build upon the zero and go to positive. But we need to acknowledging that we are below zero. Where in St. Vincent and Grenadine, somebody could have said we're going to have a drive-by shooting. In small St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and nobody know what kind of car that be. Big man, if I get a rental car and I pick up Mario woman, by the time Mario woman hand touch the door handle, them know which kind of car me I rent, which kind of tire did they on the car, which kind of deck in his car, which kind of gas the car drive, and nobody know which kind of car that they be. So police go pick up them guys there. So too much of us glorify knowing bad man. Everybody wants a bad man friend. When the bad man friend of them dead, everybody a ball. No, talk to all your bad man friends and tell them I go too fast.
Yeah. Max, they know it's a white Jeep, okay? It's a white Jeep. The number plate is unknown.
The registration is unknown, right? Big man, if you have 15 white Jeep in a St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Max won't have a scrape on the rear driver fender.
They're fine,
And me go in a dark hole with somebody home and somebody know that not being Mario Jeep, that not being Fonando Jeep, that was Max Jeep because Max don't have a scrape. Yo, we have most macocious people in the whole universe. But yet we now want to give the police and them no help. So at this point in time, it's done too late. When police trying to do the investigation and the people in the community who say they want a good community, hindering the police from doing a proper investigation because we willfully omitting information because of our friends and family doing the crime. But then when you think turn now, and the crime come at your doorstep with the same police and them all will come solve crime when they want to have proper information. Yo, but we gone too far. We have to take hold of everything. bad men in St. Vincent, you're gonna dance, please not all, you hold it down, please not. I understand it's easier said than done because you're brethren lose your life and you know what I mean, eye for eye, how I live for your life.
Yeah.
But let we come to some kind of something, Jerry, place too small for all them kind of movie, kind of scene, you crime go down in the place. Real small for that, Jerry. It hurt me heart, and I mean I live there and it hurt me heart to see that people now are lime now. Imagine if you did lime in somewhere and you scared that somebody could come and shoot up your place, wet up your place.
Yeah. Yeah, Max.
Boy, it's a sad reality.
It is.
I don't know.
Respect, man.
Yeah, but it's very sad and upsetting and like,
Yeah, I know. Thanks, man. Thanks for your contribution.
but yeah, big up on yourself.
Easy, Max. Yeah, man, that's how it is.
I don't know. I tired of the talking, and as a person,
You're tired of the talk, but we want to do then. We want to do. We want to do. If you tired of the talk, what you want to do?
You don't need a job.
I need to protest.
You need to protest. Protest what?
Protest.
What are you gonna protest? Tell me what your protest gonna be.
Protest the lack of, the rate of solving crime here in the country. I need to protest that.
But Jomo just gave you facts about how much harder.
Jomo gives his take on it. And
how much
I
harder
I am
this administration.
This is listen, man. This is
right?
what Jomo said.
He showed how much harder it is by way of sentences and so forth that this administration has been.
Yeah, but in reality, Mario.
So he talking fantasy.
No, I'm saying in reality and on the ground.
Yeah.
Is a lot different story there. It's a lot to unpack. But I think as I said again, the people, I rightfully agree that the people themselves have to change their way, their way of thinking. But who's gonna help them do that is a Christian. We spoke about the police approach as well,
right?
And there's an issue there,
Right.
so there's need for training within the police force,
Right.
Because even though you work at a company like Coates, there are customer service
Right.
going on. So while the public might be a bit, ignorant to something, the police should be trained enough to, come
Right.
back some of these issues and to deal with them in a proper manner.
Right.
So the onus is all on both sides, but we cannot say, well, this is being done enough. We need to be tougher on crime, and that is a fact.
Need to be tougher on crime. How?
But I just outlined to you that we
because
need first of all.
But it just show that
listen,
if somebody get catch now, again,
first of all,
40 years.
you need to apprehend the criminals. You need to give them stiff sentence.
But they just
intelligence gathering. Come on, Shady. Come on. I find you making excuse for those persons that we are paying. We are paying them to do a particular task and just mean.
Out for the police.
But no, I am not out for the police.
Jomo,
I am telling you what is happening there.
Why police investigations are slow because of training which is needed. We said they need training, right? They also said that they need resources by way of forensics and so forth.
Yeah.
So
I'm also
so we're not saying
it still starts with the people. People just need to
that point.
You know what I mean?
And how is this is what I say, how is that gonna be done?
People need to be able to
and how are they not? How are they? But this is, you see what I'm saying? I am telling you, there are apparatus in the country that needs to be more active.
So you're saying that if everybody that spit on the floor get thrown in jail for 20 years,
I am not saying that. I am not saying that.
We just saw where there are places that have death penalties.
Mario, listen.
I'm showing you there are places that have so much tough rules on crime and police forces that have crazy forensic and again lock up still and death penalty, and it doesn't affect the crime rate.
But I go back to ask you a question.
Being tough on crime is not just about being tough on crime, but training the people as well.
But I am not dismissing that point. But you
saying you want to go on protest. You want to go on protest. Protest what?
Protest the I tell you the
what?
The poorness in terms of the sentencing, in terms of not even the sentencing, but
you just want to
in terms
protest
of,
police.
Hold on. I just tell you there is a problem.
Right.
With regards to our system not solving these homicides. we are not getting enough information
Right.
with regards to what is happening.
And we said,
and there are a lot of persons, there are a lot of families hurting,
but we
and
said
they need
that
answers,
point,
they need an explanation.
To that point,
Yeah.
we said, you and I, that after the show, we should take a walk up to the police and see what we could unpack. Try and get them to give us a statement. We said this. So until we go and do this and then get shut down and say, well, no, you can't get that. Oh God, let we go and at least make that effort and then come back, and then you could say, well, the police say nothing, so now we could protest.
But this is what I'm saying again, Mario. You're not listening to me very carefully, you know.
Okay,
you're not listening to me very carefully.
Tell me.
We are always going back and forth with this issue, right? St. Vincent is a little 2x2 country. We all know one another. Police does have a lot of these intelligence, because just like I could come and I could tell you this and I could tell you that, the police.
But proving it in court is another thing.
That is why I am very worried about. Is the lack or it doesn't seem like they have the ability, or they're demonstrating that ability to really solve these murders. It is too out of hand now, and the level of solving these murders is a big problem. So when you go to court, who's responsible for training the police to solve these crimes?
But you need evidence to solve the crime.
Right, and who's supposed to? This is what I'm asking you again. Who's supposed to train these police to go about gathering intelligence to get the information to solve these crimes? Is it
they're just going to pick up the evidence, so
but
me and you alone in the area, I shoot you. Yeah. How the police going to solve that? Tell me how they're going.
Intelligence gathering.
How? What?
Intelligence gathering. When you just tell me a few weeks ago that nobody like to talk in this country because they're afraid. So how they going to gather intelligence when nobody ain't talking to the police?
No, people are talking to the police. I am telling you with regards to...
You can't tell me on one side that people are afraid to talk and then on another side people talking.
But what is the context that I say people are afraid to talk?
Just in general, you say people afraid thing. They're afraid to get chastised by the government. They're afraid to get beat up by the police. They're afraid the gunman not living next to them.
I didn't behave like how you behaved at all. I told you. I can't recall. And if you could get that to me, get that to me. There have to be some issue, and you have to put things in context, because if I speak about an issue where persons are afraid, are fearful,
right?
I would put it in context. With regards to the police, I have always advocated there needs to be a better community-police relationship.
Right.
I have always emphasized that. But my problem is that we have entrusted the police to look over and to govern the affair of our country in terms of providing justice, protect and solve and all these things. And if we are not getting enough persons being held, or we are not getting these cases solved, then that is a big problem that has to be addressed.
But you already said we're going and address it. So let's go address it, speak to the people, and then we can come back with our findings. But you say you want to protest. Protest what?
I just tell you again, and you're going to ask me to say, we're going to talk. Let me go to...
But you're going to protest a non-issue. No, hang on. We'll go to the top of the hour. Shady, you'll give us some vibes, and we'll do some news, then some ads. That's how it is.
Time to connect with the most love. We are the trending station. We are the trending station.
Me say action movie. You don't know it go. Boom, 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 boom.
Boom 1069. 1069. Come on. SVG's number one.
With the stories making news brought to you with the compliments of Metrocin General Insurance, I'm Mario Ravello.
And I am Fonando. Good day and welcome to Boom News Update. Two persons died last Saturday following a shooting incident in Redemption Shops. One man died on the spot and another died at the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital. According to a Redemption Shops resident, at least 3 gunmen exited a vehicle before firing a barrage of shots in the direction of a group of men. The intended target of the gunmen, according to resident, was a young man by the name of Jeroy J.J. Phillips. Phillips is said to have run into someone's yard to escape, but with the property effectively fenced, he was cornered and killed. Lorenzo Sean Deschamps sustained gunshot injuries during the shooting. He was rushed to the Milton Cater Memorial Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries. Sean has been described as a very humble young man.
The full impact of cheaper fuel purchased under the Petro-Carib agreement will not be reflected on consumers' electricity bills until January 2023. A release from the St. Vincent Electricity Services Limited, VINLEC, on November 4th said, under the most recent Petro-Carib arrangement, this fuel is being supplied to the Lomans Bay Power Station at a discounted rate. The full impact of the cheaper fuel will be reflected in January 2023 bill as the company continues to use fuel from a previous stock to generate electricity. The savings as a consequence of the Petro-Carib arrangement will be reflected in the fuel surcharge calculations and will result in a projected reduction of approximately 10 cents based on the present market rates for fuel. The release said VINLEC and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have sought to ease the burden to customers caused by the rising costs of fuel globally.
Okay. On February 1st, 2017, 13 days before former banker Randy Lawrence was shot and killed at Annisville, the police held a meeting with Lawrence and the accused, Junior Jarvis, at the Criminal Investigation Department. That's according to evidence of the head of the CID, Claston Francis. In his testimony on Wednesday, the third day of the trial, Francis told the court that he was stationed at the CID on February 1st when Lawrence came and reported against Jarvis for sending threatening words to him via WhatsApp. Francis said he instructed Sergeant Desiree Days, now a station sergeant, to entertain the report and record a written statement from Lawrence, which he did. According to Francis, Lawrence had indicated that he just wanted the police to warn Jarvis not to obstruct him in the future. Francis said that based on what Lawrence reported, he instructed Days to summon Lawrence and Jarvis to a meeting with him.
And that's news here on New Boom 1069, brought to you with the kind compliments of Metrocin General Insurance. Keep it locked on as we keep you informed as well as entertained.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrocin General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand. Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs? At Metrocin General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrocin General Insurance Company.
At Pharmacy Plus, you can get your personal care, hair care, prescription, dental, and over-the-counter, and medical supplies at affordable prices. Located on Egmont Street, opposite Home Collection. We're open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pharmacy Plus, for supreme care and more.
You can win when you top it up, switch it up, side it up, under love. Easy wins with you. Get
Catch the easy summer vibes with over $70,000 in cash and prizes. Just top up $10 or more. Activate a prepaid plan. Switch to Flow or bundle your home services to get your share of $70,000 in cash, data, Samsung Galaxy devices, shopping vouchers, and more.
You can win when you top it up, switch it up, sign it up on the love. Easy wins with Flow.
Low terms and conditions apply.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered? Covered by a company owned by Vincentions that understands your unique insurance needs. At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
Switch dog, that's what it is. Who's why you can team with the 17 dog? Pull back on it. When you're done, what be back on it, tugs them. I make a flash, I say. Till I go all off, we swing your wrist and stuff them. Start the war, we construct them. Hey, roll deep, with my dogs roll deep. Full of, I mean, holy. Work on and we cover no 2 or 3. When I loyalty, don't come on we. Roll deep, with my dogs roll deep. R.I.P. to the real OGs. So when I the city, never gon' sleep. Still I roll deep, put my dogs roll deep. Crazy yo, when man I on for the gold, man mad. Everything I pick up in the bag. The pan of black, everything usual. But I better chill, you already have a friend, them a guy. We choppy line full of money program. You remember the days when you sleep on the slab. Now we buy everything where we have ballers and ballers. Got some dog where I see cold, don't get my dough. I will still keep them close. Cause the pressure does a thump like a mother right now. The week is I feel it the most. See some fool but them reach out and them flag out and come on the block of the post. And I never help us all of them life for now you know you fi decompose, yeah. Roll deep, with my dogs roll deep. Full of, I mean holy. Work on and we cover no 2 or 3. For no loyalty, don't come on we. Roll deep, with my dogs roll deep. R.I.P. to the real OGs. So when I the city, never gon' sleep. You know roll deep, with the dogs roll deep. Yeah.
Father got you among my friends, please. Because me don't know all my enemies. I the one them will stand right beside you. I don't wanna soak you like them a lead. So me ask God to protect me head in the streets at night. And all of me enemies, yes, Father God, please shine them a light. Oh, Father God, yeah. So guide me from them bad mind people. The ones them way I promise even. Take them away, yeah, away, yeah. Alright then, them boy they don't like me. Them wants to be dead, so we know them a fight me. Them boy they don't rate me, so we know them a vex me. Them girl wanna hate me. Enough of them don't like I. Them wants to be down, they don't want to be sky high. But Father God guide I. Enough of them girl love me to be smile. Oh Father God, yeah. So guide me from them bad mind people. The ones them way I promise even. Take them away, yeah, away, yeah.
Them a chop potty bowl and them a chop smart. Cryptocurrency, you know, see some stock star. Them a chop potty bowl and them a chop smart. Them a chop smart. Them a chop smart. Bitcoin, flipping money, so we do the line. Washing money, dirty money, man, we do the grime. Connection strong like at the Wi-Fi. Mexican, no, live the poppy lifestyle. Colombian food with couple white ties. I'm still also like me a white knight. Me girl like Rosa, me a buy rice. What up with that life? Boat on the yacht, rich life. Dope na the trap is nice. 4 cognac. I want some boy. Stop some bands, scamper. Vanilla cat, we responsible. Joy Bass, Atlanta. Them a chop, but you know see them a chop smart. Cryptocurrency, you know see say me star. Them a chop, but you all of them a chop smart. Them a chop smart.
The plane just crash with the crew. When I put it in my nose, sell it like say me have a store. We had the plug, now they wanna charge phone. The plane just crash with the crew. Plane just crash with the crew. Pilot crash with the crew. I'm glad said the plane land and in the road. Get the 15 with the scope, tramp on the road. Fully load pass me the code. 1 million plus tax for your key. Tell a rat don't ramp with my cheese. The alien them I go capture your feet. Take your be a crocodile teeth. Them know me love when I reach out. When I reach enough, I speak. I hear. With the nazo pint. Anybody miss again, knock up like.
The evolution of radio. Boom 1069.
Yeah.
You just don't drink some coffee,
I'm telling you. Yo, you can visit Courts today and ride off with your brand new AKT for as low as $5,999. That's less than $6,000. Huh? Trust me. With every purchase, you get a free helmet, free delivery. Extended warranty with free servicing for a year is also included. With Ready Finance, you pay absolutely nothing for 90 days and have up to 48 months to repay. Ready Finance customers also enjoy insurance and registration processing for free. Save $2,800 on the AKT 2050 cc's. That's right, 250 cc's. Now priced at $7,699. AKT, ride responsible. I want to see you on an AKT for Fonando.
Yeah. All right, no problem, no problem.
Look like Dick Dastardly.
No problem, man. All is well, man.
You got Woodsy's reggae thing now.
Well,
what really going on with you?
You should have been lining up Woodsy.
Something wrong with you, know?
What is happening there?
All kinds of things wrong with you.
We're going down with Woodsy.
I mean, what going down with
Reggae night?
Reggae nights, buddy. Reggae nights with Woodsy. I don't understand you at all.
But I think someone was asking about
your protest.
No.
Your protest.
Somebody was asking about the fuel situation. Remember, we read a story.
Right. Well, hang on. Let me let you know about Woodsy. Woodsy's got reggae nights happening on November 12th. That's right. Make it a date. Brooklyn. You're in there, New York, buddy. From November 12th, they got a live reggae band, Easy Skanking. You know, with a name like Easy Skanking. Yeah. It's nothing but pure ruticalness. Yeah. Featuring Ras Dropper, of course, DJ Nip and DJ Easy Sounds. Woodsy's happening at 1133 Clarkson Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11212. Cover charge is $20. Doors open at 8 p.m. Reggae nights, November 12th. It's happening at Woodsy's.
November the 12th, boy.
Yeah.
I just know.
Yeah, so you were talking about your protest.
I wasn't talking about my protest. Listen. You need to stop it.
Yes, so we protested. I protested.
But said, you're gonna join me on the protest line? Why you too afraid to join me on the Hey, laughing. But ain't no reggae night without DJ Shady. DJ Shady, boy, big up yourself, the boy.
Shady not no reggae.
Big up yourself, the boy.
Shady not no reggae. Shady plays same to reggae.
Same to reggae.
Same to reggae.
Yeah. So I think
vampire.
I think what happened is that some persons, the story you just read,
right,
where the full impact of cheaper fuel will be reflected in January 2023 bill.
Right, because they said that'll burn off the old stock.
Oh God,
you see?
I don't like that one,
is
boy.
it? They said that'll burn off the old stock.
Day.
You see what's going on?
They don't get the cheap oil from Venezuela and they want to give you come on, no, man.
Man, real conspirators.
Look at that. Listen again, the full impact of of the cheaper fuel will be reflected in the January 2023 bill.
Right.
Why what a reflection for
He
Christmas?
said the
boy.
full impact. Huh?
Come to
I
Christmas.
mean, what? Wait, man. But that is when you get your Christmas bill in January. You don't get it in December. Why?
Nah, I want relief for I want relief for Christmas, boy. Somebody said the Matson in Matson.
The Matson.
So they're saying as the company continues to use fuel from a previous stock to generate electricity. I read that again. As the company continue to use fuel from a previous stock to generate electricity. The savings as a consequence of the Petrocarib arrangement will be reflected in the fuel surcharge calculated and will result in a projected reduction of approximately 10 cents based on present market rates for fuel.
Oh, look at that. Nothing wrong with that.
Somebody said so.
They come out and they say exactly,
okay,
listen.
So this is what someone is asking. So if the fuel prices rise on the international market between now and January, how will that reflect at the pump?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. Ask them that too. We have to
question.
write that down so we can ask them when we go. You see what I mean? You're giggling at me. I'm telling you real things here. Listen, man. You have peppery questions to ask folks. You could ask that, say, listen, so you telling me now that, they're selling off the old stock and then they're going to use the ones to give us a 10 cent.
That's within like,
So, well, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's what you're going to tell them. So XYZ is the case and Vinlec is saying this. So, suppose things go back up now. How that going to affect Vinlec? Because are they going to burn through that cheap stock and then you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Questions must be asked. Inquiring minds want to know.
Right. It's true. It's facts. It's true.
Someone says we have imported a get rich or die trying mentality. A man will jump into a drug boat and make $3,000 in one night's run rather than run blocks to make $300 per week. That's where it starts. The violence is associated with the drug trade stems from that mindset. They believe it's the only way to settle disputes as they can't go to court for justice.
We have I think as Randy said, so if they are unable for reasons like resources, I think the police are unable to solve crime. Why don't they ask for regional and international help as other Caribbean countries do?
Makes sense.
To get it reduced.
Makes sense.
And I'm thinking.
I think that's a good question, and we'll get more done by asking that question than protesting.
You see why I emphasize so much on the solving of these crimes, because in instances could probably be 3, 4, 5 gunmen committing all these atrocities. So if we could, get them done, we could just get one less gunman off the street, you know what I mean? So that is something I'm very serious about.
Okay, suppose there's an ongoing investigation now on the silence that's trying to get rid of 4 gunmen.
Oh God.
I'm just you say oh God.
Oh God,
I'm just asking. Suppose that's in the pipe. Let's ask a question.
Working in the media, boy, is a lot of ongoing investigation,
But that's life. Okay. As counsel said, a revenge justice. That's just that doesn't do anything,
But it's not about. I don't know what I was gonna take counsel up on that, I don't know if he was implying that I was seeking revenge justice or anything like that.
No, he's saying that a lot of people push for swift justice and revenge justice.
But counsel himself had said that justice need to be solved or seems to be solved.
Of course.
So this is where the question comes in.
Well, definitely so. But he also cited that the fact, very factual evidence.
Check your mic. You see
you're trying to cut me off. You're trying to cut me off now.
You're telling lies. I feel you're telling lies. That's why the mic cut off there.
Wow. I think I had to protest you. Shady, make up some placards. we got to surround your car.
But was speaking about the fuel situation, whereby he's talking about getting rid of the oil and
fuel hedging.
It's called fuel hedging. If done right, it's good for the economy. Yeah. some fuel hedging. Fuel hedging going on.
Fuel hedging. If done right, it's good for the economy.
What
But
do you know about fuel hedging?
I don't know much about it at all. I never hedge no fuel.
I
don't know nothing about it. 4511069 if you want to join the conversation. 4551069. Send us the voice now.
I was trying to check my gas tank, but I left me a road at one time. So
You're trying to check your gas tank?
I'm trying to check it and tell it, man, go a little longer and I go. And the neutral, you see the neutral?
And they call me a tricky daddy, you know?
No, you have to try something, boy. They say when the gas guy run out, just throw the vehicle in neutral. That does work, Shady? I don't know about as an engineer, but tell me now. Tell me, when you put your vehicle in neutral,
if there is
going
no combustion of fuel, then neutral, like, if you want to go down a hill, gravity will do that. What's this? You need an engineer to tell you that enough, Fonando.
Like when you're going downhill and things, slopes and things, you put it in neutral.
Winston says, so you bring in foreign law enforcement, let's for argument's sake say that happens, and the crime rate drops. When they pack up and leave, then what I don't see
bringing in
I don't see bringing in foreign police as a solution.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, I mean, even in bringing in the foreign police and they are able to carry it down, then they could train and help those our local ones to maintain that and so forth. So it can help. It can help once we have the right.
Solving the crime too ain't going to stop the violence from happening.
Yeah, it can help. It can help stop the violence.
Oh.
It can help stop the violence. Because you're taking these criminals off the street in the first place. Come on, man.
We just go and protest, huh? Let's just protest.
So you're saying you just one set of people doing all this?
No, well, I am saying it's a possibility because, if you notice, the crime is started centralizing in some specific area. There's some hotspot areas now that we know. You don't see much crime out in Lowmans, Windward. Right now, you don't get as much crime in Lowmans, Leeward that used to be them kind of place. Going to North Leeward, you notice where the crimes are in redemption shops, on these central areas. So, you know what I mean? There's a need for looking into all that. But the police know what to do, They really know what to do. It's just that we need to protest.
We need to protest.
You know what I mean? Crime must stop. Crime must stop.
I'm not going to stop crime. We're going to protest crime.
When they see we protesting,
we're going to protest crime. Let's just all pick up sign and say crime must stop. Too much crime. We're protesting crime.
But the police are not the one committing the crime.
That's what we're protesting crime.
Well, we're protesting crime. The police need to know how we feel. But overall, I'm just saying I am not excusing the communities as well. The communities have a role.
Communities are the one who commit
No, you can't just left the owners alone and the community because we are paying the police to do a job. Come on, Shady man.
But the community are the ones who doing the crime.
No, people within the community is just like people within the community are police officers as well. Right. But what I'm saying, as in a whole, that there needs to be a unit. Oh. No, well, we could protest for all these things, but we need community. A community approach is important. We are not saying that the community doesn't. The community has to play a larger role as well. I'm not taking away that from the community. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that.
I'm giving you a hard time about your protests, but you're right. We do need to hear from the authorities as to what's going on, and I agree with you, and that's why I'm saying let's go out and do that. Let's not just say we need to hear. Let's make an effort to get it done.
We have a comment here.
All my things shut down.
I think we got Mario.
Yeah.
I think the problem comes from the community when we used to have community helping raise a child. We have stopped that, and we don't want anyone to discipline our kids. So they grow up with the mindset that no one can talk to us when we are upset. The counseling in schools, all schools from primary right up, children have issues just like adults and don't have proper means to express it. The police do not have public relations training, and we come back to the same problem. They don't have counselors for the police to talk to. The police force do not have RRS, that is Regional Security System, and the purpose of them is to help in fighting crime and lend assistance. So this person is, I'm just saying that, it needs to come from both angles, the police and the communities. The community needs to go back to looking out for one another, concern about one another, you know what I mean? Few weeks ago, Talks and Cakers had police coming from England to help them with crime. You know.
No, I think.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense to get best practices and stuff from different places. I mean, that's what you do when you're managing a business and you have people doing.
You know what I mean? But we're not excusing anything. Mario, as well, they are good people in the community. They are good police officers.
Yeah.
But we just need to get everything in unison. You know what I mean? Let me get everything together. So you get something there.
Well, no, I know that, and I shouldn't have to be saying this because there was a statement on Facebook as well too. You know, there's a story going on about Carlos James, right?
Yeah, I saw that.
But there's also he sent a post saying that this is fake news, right? And you know, he doesn't know where the story originated from, etc. But I'm still seeing it you know, circulating like wildfire. So there is a statement by Carlos James as well. So if you're circulating that, circulate Carlos' statement as well. Don't just circulate the saying that, you know.
Well, I ain't saying no. I ain't touched that issue, you know. So I can't pin me in and nothing. I feel like all the TV enough for me today.
No.
I say you, I say Angela can say that.
Yeah, and then you know we had
you calling him man Will Smith and all kind of.
Who did that?
Shady.
Yeah, I heard that. We could follow up and then see what's going on with that.
Got slapped and I said Will Smith
slapped.
Chris Rock.
Okay. we go follow up on that. Because we had the minister's statement. You said your statement saying that is false.
Yeah.
We could follow up on that to ensure that is false and so forth. But you know, that is a statement out, as you said. There was some report that the Minister of Tourism would have been involved in a skirmish with you know, I think
with a young lady,
at least two young ladies.
At least two.
Yeah. So the minister in a statement is rejecting that. You said he's saying disputing that.
Disputing that, saying that that's false news that people are spreading.
Interesting.
So,
yeah.
But you know him personally. Call him up and let's deal with this. Let's deal with this, man. He can come here tomorrow and we can plan this out, you know.
Yeah.
Come now, man.
Or if
we have things. We have cameras and mics.
There's somebody who are claiming such as well.
That as well,
you know what I mean, because there's two sides to this story,
well, three sides, huh?
Three sides, yeah.
We want to represent the truth.
So just some good news again. Air Canada is set to resume direct flights from Toronto to the Argyle International Airport as of Friday. Well, they began Friday. There will be 3 flights per week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from December the 20th until the 10th of January 2023, and after that 2 flights per week on Tuesday and Thursdays, remember the date, until the end of April 2023. In addition, American Airlines is set to resume daily flights to St. Vincent and the Grenadines as of March the 3rd, 2023. So that's good there for, you know, persons who want to travel, like Mario, who likes to travel, and you know, City Wall. You know, I haven't traveled in a while. I used to love traveling, but I haven't traveled in a while.
Right.
Winston is Air Canada come from mango. Come like mango.
It come like mango?
Yeah. Them only around for a season.
Oh, look at that.
I didn't know I go too hard like Winston.
I know I ain't getting no mango at all this season. Anyway, so we haven't talked about no mango. Just a quick note for you here. The SVG Coalition of Churches will be staging a prayer walk today. A prayer walk for the nation. The prayer walk is being organized in an effort to call attention to the goodness of God towards St. Vincent and the Grenadines. That this country in the last few years has experienced a number of challenges, including an outbreak of dengue, COVID-19, the eruption of La Soufriere, and numerous floods. It is hoped that the walk will remind Vincentians that in the midst of all these challenges we're facing, God has been good to us. And to bring about a sense of godliness and righteous living. The walk will start in the vicinity of the NIS headquarters at 11:30 a.m. and proceed down the Bay Street, turning up Lindley Street onto Back Street and ending at Heritage Square. There'll be stops along the way with special prayers being said by various church leaders. These include prayers for the general well-being of our citizens, the unity of the church,
youth of the nation, the justice system, so protest,
Yes.
and
Protest.
and the call to holiness.
Yeah.
The theme for the prayer walk for the nation is God's Church united in acts of prayer and praise. The SVT Coalition of Churches is calling on all Vincentians to be a part of this important activity, recognizing that our faith in God will see us through.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Are you going to cover the prayer walk, buddy?
Prayer walk.
You say it's so prayer walk.
We can talk about that. We can talk about that off here. But folks, if you're following the development with regards to the accusation that has been made against the Minister of Tourism, the Minister of Tourism has issued a statement disputing those allegations.
That's right.
Yeah. So we are waiting. Pastor's supposed to be in soon.
Yeah.
So
at 9:40, 45. But don't forget, Woodsy's got it going on November 12th. He's got the Reggae Nights. It's live reggae band Easy Skank is going to be in the house, featuring, of course, Ras Dropper, DJ Nip, and DJ Easy Sounds. It's happening at Woodsy's. The cover charge is $20. Doors open at 8 p.m. And, of course, Woodsy's got food galore, too, huh? Trust me. Woodsy's got, skirt steaks. He's got all-American burgers, appetizers, all kinds of things.
Sure.
Wings, drinks. Trust me, Woodsy have it going on. So check out Woodsy, 1133 Clarkson Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, 11212. It's not just entertainment, it's good food too. Keep it locked on. We've got Doc coming in. Doc should be in soon.
Doc should be in. We could pay a few bills and come back.
Okay. Yeah. Pay a bill or two and come back.
Yeah.
Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs? Isn't it good to know that no matter where you are, you're covered by a company owned by Vincentians that understands your unique insurance needs? At Metrosint General Insurance Company, we've invested 50 years of service to guarantee that you have the peace of mind that you deserve. When it comes to motor vehicle, property, employer's liability, business insurance, and much more, we've got you covered. Our professional and friendly staff understands your needs and ensures you understand your options. Metrosint General Insurance Company.
At Pharmacy Plus, you can get your personal care, hair care, prescription, dental, and over-the-counter, and medical supplies at affordable prices. Located on Egmont Street, opposite Home Collection. We're open Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Pharmacy Plus, for supreme care and more.
They depend on you. Report to the authorities. That's what you should do. You'll see the signs. Do what's right. Put a stop to child abuse. See, suspect, say. Among friends and families. A message from the Child Development Division within the Ministry of National Mobilization in collaboration with yourself.
Let's check in with the doc and look at things with a wider lens. Pastor Richards on OMG.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can get things ready. The players in place. The stage is set. And we have got Doc Richards in the house. Good Monday to you.
Yeah, good Monday to everyone. Mario and Shady and Fonando. You guys have a lot of confidence that I would call it. Because, I mean, just as I'm getting my gadget here set up to call and I plug in and everything, no, I hear my drop being played. I mean, you guys didn't even wait for me to be backstage. I know I was not Nation of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I was not even backstage, and them guys are playing my drop.
Because we know that we could set our watch by you, you know. Unless you message me and say Mario or something.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Watch.
Yeah, that is true. If something is happening, and I'm in a position to let you know, I'll let you know. There's so much here, but you see, today is such a day that despite the many temptations to talk about X, Y, and Z, well, you know, a lot of relevant topics, you know what is the major thing for me today. My mood here is one of prayer for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Earlier in and I hope I can get as many people staying with me as possible throughout what I am going to say about this nation and about prayer, the place of prayer in this nation. Vis-a-vis many other things. We just had a recent event here in this nation, for example, in which it was highly patronized. It was not a prayer event, but it was, yeah, I got jealous. I got jealous. When I say I got jealous, in the sense that at a paid event where you have to pay a good sum of money to attend, people don't mind shelling it out and getting all bedecked and getting and you excited and you verved for that particular event. You have an event like a day of prayer for free to engage in, or even to follow, or to pay, even passing peripheral interest to prayer for our nation, and you get scant. First of all, scant participation, and the same is true for the awareness and attention that is given. It doesn't really, in the on the entire national barometer, it really does not resonate, and it does not really make a dent. You hardly see the needle shift for the National Day of Prayer, which is an officially designated Day of Prayer and was had sometime towards the end of October. I think it was the Monday prior to independence or something like that. We had that National Day of Prayer. So you might ask, therefore, what is the difference between what happened on that occasion and what is being proposed for this occasion? On that occasion, what we had was just a 12-hour period of continual prayer for the nation by Zoom. There was not much visibility to the thing. There was not much participation apart from those who were praying. So it was, permit me to use the word, a storm in a teacup. It was happening. The I was dotted, the T was crossed, the box was checked, and people in St. Vincent hardly knew about it.
Yeah.
And that's not good enough. We felt like something that had a little bit more, well, not pump and circumstance, but in terms of the breadth of awareness, to spread it out a little bit. And so we felt like, how can we do something that can get the notice, at least, of the nation, if not the approval of the nation, get the notice of the nation, so that more people know that Christians, no matter how they're dogged, and no matter how they're conceived, no matter how they're scoffed at, and no matter how they're laughed at, that they're Christians that are still believing that prayer is the lever that will change things in this country. And we want people to know that. When I say we, I mean the Christian Coalition, which would be the Evangelical Association, all of the evangelical and other churches, Pentecostal, and the Christian Council, coming together as one Christian body across the nation. And we felt like the day of rally around Kingston, it is called a prayer walk around Kingston, beginning at the National Insurance Services. I almost said scheme again. National Services, National Insurance Services headquarters, uptown. You know where that is, up near the wharf. Beginning at 11:30. There are prayer points all along the way. We are going to pray for a number of things that this nation needs. We are going to pray for confession. Now, that is absolutely not. Mario, let me just pause here to say I am going to talk a bit, and then trust me, I'm going to pause for questions, for comments, and for feedback. But let me just lay out. Please permit me another 2, 3, 4 minutes to lay out some things. We are going to pause and begin praying about confession. I know, we begin to do intercessory prayer, ask for God's favor, ask for God's grace, ask for God's help, but we have not come to a point of confession, first of all, to confess this is who we are. We have to face ourselves in the mirror if we're going to ask God for anything. We have to, like in the day of Jonah, when the king, from the very head official, throughout the entire spectrum of the different sectors of society, Everyone got into this posture of confession and repentance. We believe that if we don't acknowledge God, if we don't acknowledge that we have wronged God, if we don't come before God like David and said, I've gone and I have sinned and I have, you know how David confessed in Psalm 51, how he had messed up. If we can't get to the point of saying, I have messed up, then we have no place to come before God and ask God for anything. So the very first set of prayers that you will hear today would be prayers of national confession that we have messed up. And then the second set of prayers would be prayers for repentance. Because it is one thing, Mario, to acknowledge you have messed up, but you might not repent. I know that you have messed up. You might be willing to say, I have messed up. You might confess and say, look, I have not done, in the traditional prayer, I have not done the things that I should have done. And I have done the things that I should not have done. Unpack that. And you might be at the point where you are aware that there are things I should do I didn't do, and things I should not do that I did. But that doesn't mean that the fact that you acknowledge that you repent. Repent means to turn around and you do better. So the second set of prayers will be prayers of repentance, indicating we have to do better, indicating personal and corporate commitment to do better. Those will be necessary prayers that will be said over this nation. And then once we get past the prayers of confession and the prayers of repentance, which are necessary prayers, then we begin to pray for other things for our country. And the last prayer that will be said when we're going to go around town, and we are going to stop at various prayer points approved by the police. This is done with the approval of the police and with the permission of the police. We are going to pray for various things along the way. Come all the way. I think you outlined the route earlier. I heard it.
Yes, I did.
And then we're going to get back up to Heritage Square, which has become the cultural square now for things here in St. Vincent the Grenadines and Kingstown. And we are going to have an address to the nation there. And then after that, we are going to have a prayer of thanksgiving. It will be remiss of us if we do all of these things and we don't thank God. Despite our current milieu and our current circumstances, God has indeed been gracious and more than gracious to us as a country. I am telling you, if we stop and think of where we are now and where we could have been. There's an old song, Mario, you might not know it, but it goes like, Fernando, you might know it though, because you seem to have a bit of, it's on count your many blessings.
Yes.
Name them one by, Fernando, you know it?
Count your many
blessings. Name them one by one.
Yes.
And it will surprise you what the Lord has done.
Yes.
Count your many blessings. Yes. Name them one by one, and it will surprise you what the Lord has done. Yes. And despite how I'm not knocking people for pointing out all the things that are wrong, but frankly speaking, things could have been a whole lot worse. And we have a choice to either lament the things that we think are not optimal, or to give thanks, to thank God, to express thanksgiving that boy is not as bad as it could have been, and there's some reason why things have not absolutely devolved, and we have to, at the helm of that, give thanks to Almighty God and say, thank you, Lord, because it could have been a lot worse had it not been for your grace. And that's how we will end. So that and that will probably be about the 2 o'clock or thereabout. So there's a whole span of time for you to get involved between 11:30 when we start at National Insurance Services. And if you can't get the entire time off, at least your lunch break off, you can pick up along the way. It will be easy to tell because there's going to be the truck, and there's going to be the loudspeaker, and there's going to be the prayer being said. You will hear this around Kingstown. And again, the hope is that this will gain a lot more attention and a sense that we are still a praying nation, more so than the day of prayer that went in October was able to garner. So that's what I have to share by way of information, and I will pause now, and if you have comments or questions or whatever, I'll do my best to try to answer them.
All right. Fernando, do you have anything first and foremost?
Well, the pastor always doing some unpacking, so I think. I mean, you would have answered the question because there's some comments I was seeing on the Facebook Live, in terms of what do you think will be achieved from this prayer? And I think you would have mentioned, that
Mhm.
Well,
Awareness. Yeah. Mario, go ahead. I'm hearing
well,
you.
we're getting some folks saying that prayer without works, how can that be enough.
Mhm.
And you made mention of a couple other events that garnered a great audience. So is this indicative of where the mentality is at then?
But there's a lot to do with the mentality of our people. But thanks be, and I heard you say it again this morning, Mario, which I appreciate the fact. When you said that, I'm like, there's a guy that listens. In terms of what I said, is our basic issue devolves down to the people. It is the people. When we change the people, we change a lot. Changing institutions, really, and keeping the same people, is a recipe for sameness. But when you change people, you change the core. We have a
Yes,
mentality issue, and and I appreciate the people who question and say things like prayer what. No, you might say, what, you appreciate those people? Yes, I appreciate them, because you are, of course I do. They are the code. They want to know. Prayer, idle prayer is meaningless. That's what they're trying to say. Prayer, and you pray for things, and then what? If you pray, you put something there and pray and say move it, but you can move it yourself, and you can wait all day for it to move. So I appreciate those people who say prayer and action. But here's the thing that I know: there's a thing called intercessory prayer. Okay, let me use
Explain
that
what
as
that.
exactly. That's my segue to talk about that. It's not the benefit or what someone deserve or what someone merit on account of what they have done or not done. It is something that is begged for from one party on behalf of another. Let me show you how that works. In the intercessory prayer of Jesus in John chapter 14, 15, 16, and 17, where he intercedes to God for us, it is not that we deserve anything at all. We are messed up people. We do wrong all the time. But it is the fact that Jesus, who has merit with God, intercedes for God on our behalf. Another good passage is Isaiah chapter 53, about intercession, that says, he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement that brought us our peace was upon him, and by his stripe we are healed. Here it is, Mario. We all like sheep have gone astray, and we ain't come back. We all like sheep have gone astray, everyone to his own purpose. In other words, we still doing our own thing, and God laid on him the iniquity of all us all. There's a way that God responds to those who beg on behalf of others who are not even paying attention. In the way the prodigal, the father of the prodigal, would still be having this sense of longing for his son to return home. There is a place for intercession. The Bible says the Holy Spirit continually makes intercession for us. It's not that we deserve, Mario, we are fallible. Every one of us, preachers, leaders, members, we all fallible people. We don't deserve much with God. We don't deserve anything with God. But there is that spirit of intercession, asking God to give us grace and asking God to give us mercy. He gives us the things which we don't deserve by our actions or by how we refrain from certain actions. He gives us stuff that we don't deserve, and actual justice and actual punishment that we deserve, he withholds in the face of intercession. This is who God is, and we are going to intercede. We are not pretending today that we are goody two shoes people. We are not pretending that we deserve anything. We are not pretending that we are good. We are not pretending that we have all of the right actions. We are asking God, as the intercessory prayers go up, we are asking God to provide us with grace and provide us with mercy yet in the face of our current circumstances. So those who are saying, but with the action and but with the this and but with the that, it ain't there, but there's a place, and God intervenes. Historically in the Bible, we have seen that when God hears the intercessory prayer on behalf of those who don't even deserve it, that he intervenes. I hope I answered that question.
Yes, somebody we have about saying prayer is the most powerful thing we have, but we have to first believe what happened on the cross.
And let me give Bert a big shout out. But everybody in the whole of country knows that Bert raves me, but don't get fooled. Bert will correspond with me, and he sent me a good article just recently where I looked through, and I'm like, Bert, that is good stuff. But Bert is a provocateur.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah.
But he's right. I appreciate what Bert has said, coming from a strong religious background. He said you can't be it and then be ignoring what Jesus Christ did on the cross. And the example, and I talked about this yesterday, the example that Jesus Christ put on the cross for us to follow. He said, if you will be one of my people, he said, you will deny yourself, you will take up your cross, and you will follow me. That's exactly what he said. Now, what does that mean? It means being able to put yourself in the place for others. And even when others don't deserve it, you sacrifice and you dish out all you can for their salvation. It's a salvific act. And we have to be more salvific for our society, in the sense that even it's not on the basis of who good and who ain't good, and who going down the wrong road and who going down the right road. It's the basis of, man, what can I do? What can I do to take my society to a better place? But you nailed it there, Bud. I have to give that one to you today. we not only have to appreciate the example of Jesus Christ, but we have to be aware of it and be willing to follow it. You know what I said actually yesterday in my to my people? I said this, not many of us are aware of it, but not many of us embrace it and want to follow it. Not many of us want to sacrifice on behalf of the other. And that is the core of who we should be if you call yourself a Christian. You should be willing to lay it down. Not for yourself, but you should be willing to lay it down for other people. In fact, in Luke chapter 14 and verse 27, for those who care to look it up, in Luke chapter 14 and verse 27, you know what it says? It says, you cannot be my disciple. You cannot. You can't. You can't. You can't be. You can't. You can't be my disciple if you're not willing to take up your cross and follow me.
Yeah.
In other words, if you're not willing to take up this mentality of I gonna lose everything self, I am willing to give up I'm willing to give up pride, I'm willing to give up possession, I'm willing to encounter hardship, I'm willing to encounter ridicule, scorn, persecution, everything. I am willing to encounter it if it would lead people to Christ. And unless you can do that, you can't be pushing back. When people cut you down, you can't be pushing back. When people cuss you out, you can't cuss them out. When people do you something, you can't do them back. You do me, I do you back. No, you can't do that, So there has to be a cadre and a core of us within this nation, no matter how much you get insulted, no matter how much you get persecuted, no matter how much you get scorned, no matter how much they talk about you badly, no matter how much they beat upon you, you soak it up. And you don't stop, you keep going. That's your cross, and you carry it. And the problem with that to some people is that where are you carrying the cross to? You're carrying the cross to your ultimate demise. That's what Jesus did. But you have to believe, like he said in John chapter, I think it's 13, verse 3 or thereabout. He said, I might be wrong there, but he said, unless a seed falls to the ground and dies, it's not going to produce anything. So you have to be willing, therefore, to know that you're going to soak up a lot of punishment and a lot of scorn, ridicule, hardship, trouble, things that you don't even deserve, and persecution, and you soak it up. And he says, that's the mentality of the people I want. And he says, if you can't take up that kind of cross, and if you can't do that, you really have no business calling yourself one of mine. It is my goal to be one of his, and therefore to take up my cross and follow him.
Doc, before we let you go here, the last line of the circular says the SVG Coalition of Churches is calling on all Vincentians to be a part of this important activity, recognizing that, quote, our faith in God will see us through. Do you think that this is a through theme of most Vincentians, that our faith in God will see us through?
Again, sorry to be making so many references, but if you wish to, you can listen to this sermon yesterday, in which the title of the sermon was Christians Getting Too Soft. And in that sermon, I said to the people that we have become, the narrative God and secularization has become one where we are increasingly either cynical about faith and faith matters, or skeptical about faith and faith matters, or completely agnostic and adversarial towards faith and faith matters. But at the very core, and I've seen it over and over again, I still maintain that Vincentians are a people of faith. resonating deep within, so that in our most vulnerable situations, whether it is dying or in sickness or in some major disaster or something, we as a people corporately, maybe not always individually, but corporately, we are our people, we always revert back to God. And I believe that God does not turn his face on us when we humbly seek him, especially in times of our need. And I believe it's that faith that God responds to. So, yes, if peripherally we don't seem to be a nation and a people of faith, and we are cynical and adversarial towards faith matters, I believe at our very core, we are still a people who believe in God as opposed to being atheistic. And I therefore believe that that kind of faith, even if it's a tacit faith to begin with, and an nominal faith to begin with, even that faith in God will see us through. And Heavenly Father, I pray, oh God, that as we approach your throne today and intercede on behalf of this nation, not that we deserve it, God. I pray your forgiveness, God. I pray your mercy, and I pray your grace through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. So, Pastor,
Yes, sir.
God is love and God is good. I trust
Yes,
that
he
you
is.
have a great day today, a good day, everything.
Very, yes. Thank you very much. It's going to be very meaningful. And again, I understand there might be skepticism and all of that out there. I'm not here to dog. I'm just here to say, give us the support yet, because we mean Mario. We mean well. All we want is we want the good for this country, and we're doing the best we know. That we know we mean well, so your support will mean a lot to us. I hope people will come out and at least join along the way, and if you are still skeptical, at least stand along the route. If you don't want to join in, stand along the route and hear what we have to pray for our
Receive
nation.
some blessings. Receive some blessings.
And it starts at 11:30 a.m. At the
Yes,
NIS
sir.
headquarters, and then
Yes,
it proceeds down to Bay Street, turning up Lindley Street onto Black Street, and ending at Heritage Square.
Some of the streets I don't even know their names, but I know Back Street come up by this and then turn back up or come down Bay Street and turn where and then go back up Back Street and Heritage Square. That much I know.
Pastor, let us pray for the DJ.
Shady, I won't pick up on the prompt that Mario gave earlier that maybe I should latch on. You see, it's all about forgive. Mario dropped a prompt to me and he was prodding me earlier on that I should maybe light the fire on the
Shady.
Shady. When Shady, somebody said their prayer and Shady laughed.
Oh,
and
yes.
And Mario said, "You will hear what Pastor have to say about that." But nah, I ain't that kind of person at all, right?
This man, do you write down these cues? This man listens to this program a little too clinically, you know?
No, Mario, but you know how my mind thinks like your mind in a lot of things, right? So things resonate and we like, okay, I'll pay attention. But Shady, we'll be praying for the Shadies of the. We love our people, you know.
There you go.
I tell you what, let me say this. I tell you, if you come with an attitude of recrimination and vengeance and hit for hit, and somebody says something, I mean, we are human and we make mistakes. We have to have as wide an expanse of forgiveness and tolerance as we can, and leave judgment and all of that up to God. Let's love our fellow men. All right. I hope you have heard me well to this in Vincent and the Grenadines. Take care.
There you go. Thank you so much, Doc. Have a great
take
one,
care.
and we'll see you at the prayer walk.
All right, definitely. Take care. Bye. All right, bye.
So there it is. The prayer walk happens today. If you can, on your lunch hour, if you're around town or you're around the route, you know, it means a lot. For us to stand in solidarity, whether that's your faith or not, because you know, who doesn't want great things to happen to the place that they're living
absolutely.
in? You know, it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah. So on that note, we gotta big up everybody who have lock it down with us today. Shady, anything you wanna? I don't know if you want to big up.
Shady stretching like
Zeev always bigging up Shady. Big up.
Morning, Cleve.
It's Cleve, but they call it.
There's Zeev, it's Cleve.
All right, Zeev. And Tanya, big up yourself. Winston, Bot,
Angela. Big up Ella. Ella brought breakfast for us on Friday. That breakfast was yummy. Hey, if you're looking for things, Ella have it going on. Check her out right next to Selwell in that mall there. Listen, we had sausage roll. We had was that coffee?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we had real things.
Yeah, things. It was good. It was good, and it was timely.
Yeah, man.
So big up Ella there.
So Ella, you could send things. You know, we will eat it on camera this time.
Yeah, you behave yourself. Shady, you line up.
Yeah, man. We're in there. Thank you so much, folks. See you tomorrow.
We're out.
We are the trending station. We are the trending station.
Me say action move, hey, you don't know it go. Boom, 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 boom.
Home 1069.
Try me 100 times.